drivers are here in I2I, there's no room for fear. Green flag drops and the engines roar, 40 cars and we all want more. Mash the gases, we're on the line, 4 wide and we're feeling fine. Drifting close in a slipstream dance, taking the corners in a high-speed trance. Through the chicane, it's side by side. On Motor Mouth, there's nowhere to White flag, need a perfect lap. All gas, no brakes to close that gap. Checkered waves in the race is won. Another battle is over and done. Cheers to the booth, hope they like the show. Victory lane is all I know. Sun's going down and the rig is on. iRacing is where I belong. Discord's lit and the drivers are here. In I2I, there's no room for fear. Green flag drops and the engines roar, 40 cars and we all want more. Mash the gases, we're on the line, 4 wide and we're feeling fine. Drifting close in a slipstream dance, taking the corners in a high-speed trance. Through the chicane, it's side by side. On Motor Mouth, there's nowhere to White flag, need a perfect lap. All gas, no brakes to close that gap. Checkered waves in the race is won. Another battle is over and done. Cheers to the
All right, no corners are cut, no steps are skipped from setup till tear down. Exceptional workmanship is a guarantee, and no mess is ever left behind. Action Roofing has a product for any problem, including asphalt, built-up roof systems, EPDM, and torch-applied SBS. Whatever the circumstances, Action Roofing has the experts to give you a roof that will suit your needs. So call Action Roofing, the flat roofing specialists, at 306-545-46.
Hello everybody and welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway for the second round in the Action Roofing Cup Series this season at I2I Motorsports. It's a Gen 6 season and it's round 2 from Atlanta this week after last week's victory for Joshua Parent, the front runner from last season, and a great finish it was as well at Daytona. A few less miles, 50 less this week, but no less of a long and hard race for the drivers, I'm sure. 130 laps it will be, and it's not at Echo Park Speedway, you'll notice. It is at old school Atlanta Motor Speedway, which we're very much looking forward to tonight. Myself, Ian O'Leary, Charles Bushell in commentary for the Southern Showdown 200 here tonight, with Owen behind the cameras of this broadcast on Motormap Broadcasting on a Saturday as always. Good to be alongside you, Charles. It's good to be at Atlanta in its old form. The bumps and the slightly less steep banking means that this is a proper mile-and-a-half intermediate racetrack and not the super speedway sort of that we see these days.
Yeah, absolutely, Ewan. It is a proper old school track. Still pretty high banking for 1.5 mile track. But yeah, what we're going to see tonight is these cars riding these bumps through here. we were to go on board one of them, it would be able to show you very quickly why they've resurfaced this track, because it is a handful here. You'll get to see the car working through the corner, and you see the bumps there on the bottom. You see the car just kind of bouncing through. You'll see sparks fly out from under the cars tonight. But it's going to be a pretty good test tonight with a 200-mile race. This is a very, very fast track. I believe it still is the fastest non-restrictor plate track on the NASCAR circuit as far as your lap speeds go. Obviously, there's a couple circuits with some higher top speeds, but they, Michigan and Pocono come to mind, but I don't think they carry quite the speed through the corners. So this, corner for corner is one of the fastest circuits on the NASCAR calendar. Looking forward to a really good race tonight. Looks like we got a 111 track, which is going to make this even a little more challenging with a little bit of sleepy surface out there as well. So it's going to be a very difficult test for our drivers tonight.
It certainly is. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But this is the Southern Showdown 200 tonight, 200 miles round here. Now, normally the second race of the season back in the day was a 500-mile race around here. I think it is back to 400 these days. So this is effectively continuing on with the half distance that we've been doing, and will continue to do for large parts of this season. Every intermediate racetrack of more than a mile in length is going to be a roughly 200-mile race. Short tracks are going to be roughly 150 miles. Road courses roughly 100 miles. And we're going to have all of those over the course of this 24-week season. Let's just talk about the schedule a little bit before we carry on any further. It does have the feel of an early NASCAR season, this, even though it's condensed into 24 weeks and we don't have many repeats. Indeed, we've got Daytona twice, but that's pretty much it. Next week we're at Phoenix, which is another early season racetrack. Or certainly back in the day used to be, with the finale now going to Phoenix. It's got a little bit weird in recent times, but anyway, Michigan, Vegas early on as well. North Wilkesboro, of course, making a return to the Cup Series calendar recently, has also made a return to our calendar for the first 6 races. But this is one of 3 intermediates in the first 5 races, and I think we were commenting on this a bit last season, or I certainly was, about the amount of intermediates that we had. We are mixing it up way more this season, it feels to me, as far as the track type, but it is still a very intermediate heavy start with actually 3 of the first 5, but actually 3 in the next 4 weeks are all intermediate tracks here, not Phoenix, but Michigan and Vegas the weeks after that for rounds 4 and 5 as well.
Yeah, absolutely it is indeed that way, and I think that kind of tracks with the NASCAR schedule. It just you've got so many of these mile and a half. I won't call them cookie cutter because they're all a little different, but these mile and a half racetracks: Atlanta, Charlotte, Texas, Las Vegas. Michigan moves up to a 2-mile, but still that tri-oval configuration, non-restrictor plate. So you get a double dose of those during in the real life NASCAR schedule every year. So it does feel like it's watching practice there. Is it's a little intermediate heavy, but I think that's just part of the deal when you're doing a NASCAR season. It is good to get some of the smaller tracks. North Wilkesboro is going to be something new. Obviously, I'm sure we've got at least Bristol on the calendar. Phoenix is a really good shorter track, I guess, 1 mile. So it's a good mix of tracks and layouts with some road courses thrown in as well. So I think it's a really good schedule. I think that Trey and the guys did a really good job of putting it together.
Yeah, really enjoy the schedule of this season, and it's going to continue to play out over the course of the week. So we'll be live here on Motormouth Broadcasting, of course, with all of the races. 30th of January is our final race at Homestead Miami Speedway to round out the season. So it's a long season ahead of us, 24 weeks, and there's some weeks off indeed in the middle of it all. But a long stretch to begin with, 7 weeks at the beginning, as we were commenting a bit last week. 7 weeks to begin with before we get to the first road course at Sonoma, and then there is finally a week off before Darlington, Talladega, Bristol on the dirt, Nashville, Kansas, Dover, Kentucky. That's all in a 7-week stretch as well. Before a final 4-week stretch to the end of the regular season. And one thing to remind you that is returning this season is playoffs returning after we had just a regular season last time out. in the O'Reillys. It is a playoffs campaign this time round. No win and you're in. So Joshua Parent, who won at Daytona last week, you may remember, is not he's not the first driver in the playoffs, but he does hold the big advantage. There he is in the 22. He's actually got in here very late here for the practice session, but I'm sure he'll be well practiced and he'll be ready to go because he was one of the big names last season, and I'm sure he'll be one of the big names this season as well.
Yeah, I would completely agree. I think he needs a ton of practice here. He seems like he's pretty adept at driving these cars. But I'm gonna shout out some names. I'm just kind of looking at as we were preparing for this. Joe Nordine, Christopher Herr, 57 laps in practice. So not only going to do 130 laps for the race, they came up and essentially ran half the race already just preparing for this. Bunches of cars are over 40 laps already. So the guys that came in here that knew they needed to do the work came in and did the work. So hats off to them for really trying to get prepared for what we're going to see tonight. And so we should have a pretty good race here as we've got, once again, several cars over 40, couple cars over 50 laps. So I think we'll have us quite a battle here once we get things rolling.
Yeah, good to shout out some of those drivers who've done a lot of laps in practice. I think Herr has the most, hasn't he? Just complete lap 59 rather there. This, for reference, by the way, practice opens at 7:30 Eastern, so they only have 45 minutes to get out there and do their laps. But that is complete now in practice, and we're ready to go for qualifying in just a moment. Hopefully some of the drivers are going to wait a little bit so we can... we've got something to watch throughout the whole of the session, but generally we're going to see them piling out there onto the racetrack. Obviously a solo session. We're going to see them all piling out there very, very quickly indeed as we look at the Atlanta Motor Speedway from the air. The road course little bits on the inside as well, or bits that were, I guess, back in the day as we get into qualifying now. And as expected, lots of them heading out. A couple more things before we get to qualifying, by the way. 30 drivers in the session, 29 having completed at least one lap in practice, which is pretty amazing to begin with. It's actually more than last week, which is pretty amazing. And second of all, Trey Grober's racing here tonight. Our league owner, who's normally in race control these days, is giving it a go on the racetrack here tonight. So that's a rare event for everybody to take note of heading into this race tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I was listening to the kind of the driver brief here before practice ended, and Trey was saying that they found somebody to run race control. I was talking about this with somebody else the other day that these guys that put these leagues together, they really are passionate about racing. Trey loves NASCAR, loves running these cars, does a lot of work to prepare these. Prepare the season, get the schedule set, do a little recruiting, get some sponsors in place. But then in the end, sometimes you just kind of miss actually getting out on the track. So it's good to see Trey getting out there and getting some racing done as well. So we'll see what he can do tonight. And my guess is he's probably going to do okay. I would say he's not coming in unprepared either. So it is good to see him out there. And that is what this is all about is competition. And sometimes you start running the behind the scenes stuff and you forget that you're actually a fan and you actually want to get out and race. So it's good to see him out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the strange things, isn't it, about running a league? You stop running a league because you love doing it, and then you realise that actually you don't get to do very much of the actual driving sometimes. But good to see that Trey's got some time to race with us here tonight. So far, fastest time, Joe Nordine, although he wasn't able to complete his second lap time there. And Braxton Merrifield there with lap number 2 goes very close. In fact, 0.02 of a second slower than Joe Nordine. Cameron Saro crosses the line, stays third ahead of Ryan Daly, who currently rounds up the top 4. And there's Christopher Herr. All that practice paying off because he takes pole so far by 0.12 of a second.
Yep, there you go. And that is what those 60 laps were for, is to get out here and get a good starting position. It's going to be just another one of these, because of the track surface, it might be another one similar to Daytona where you either want to be in the very front or in the very back, and you don't want to be mixing it up here early and getting caught up in a wreck.
Over the line for Parent, he goes to second with that second lap time, just in behind Daniel Nogue, who goes even quicker. What a run in form he's on at the moment, Daniel Nogue. Still on this fantastic run, although I don't think the race result was quite what he was looking for last week. He ended up finishing 18th on the day, but he led 9 laps, and it was looking good at one stage for him. At the stage break, he was just inside the top 10 as well, in 9th by the stage. So, yeah, good, decent run for him. Tyler Miller over the line in the 18, finishes his session and does not improve with that second lap time there. Sam Stramati and Jake Miller are next in line. So 3.5 minutes of everybody piling out onto the racetrack all at once. And now we've got those who've waited a little while to see what the benchmark is going to be. And Sam Stramati already up into the top 5 there. And that's only with lap 1.
Yeah, a good lap there by Sam. He was quick in the practice and actually ran up a lot of laps as well. Was one of those cars that was over 40 laps. So he was getting it tuned in, and it's paying off as he's got a top 5 qualifying spot thus far. Let's see what he comes up with here at the end of lap 2 as he works his way down here to cross the start-finish line. And it is going to be... Oh, pole position. There you go. 30.38 for Stramati. Great run there. 200s over Nogue.
Fantastic lap time from Sam Stramati. That might well be enough for pole. Jake Miller, with his lap time, got into the top 10 there, by the way. Sean Lester is on his way through his first lap time as well right now in the 31. And again, our thanks to him for giving us something to watch in the final minutes of this qualifying session, although there's only 30 seconds to go. So he's left this a tiny bit too late. I think the session's going to end before he gets this second lap in, and that lap time might be it for him. He's going to be 21st, it looks like, in the field, because he's left it slightly too late.
Yeah, he did indeed. Just maybe a few seconds too late. He's going to try and finish it up here, but don't know if he's going to be able to get back to the start-finish line. If nothing else, he's got a really nice-looking paint on the car. So, it stands out, and he's getting some good airtime here in that number 31 Monster Energy car.
Indeed, that is a very nice paint. He will be starting, though, towards the back end of the field as we get ready for the Southern Showdown 200 tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's Sam Stramati who takes the pole in front of Daniel Nogue, who is in fantastic form at the moment, but it's only a front row. Sam Stramati in the 48 going to be on the pole after running up towards the front at times last week as well, of course. Joshua Parent was the race winner last week and starts from 3rd. Christopher Herr, the man with the most practice in practice, obviously, starts in 4th place. Joe Nordine, who was up there towards the front at the end of the race, 3rd place at the end at Daytona last week, starts from 5th, in front of Braxton Merrifield, who is starting in 6th place. Row 4 will be made up of Zach Tyndall, the championship contender from last season, and Nathan Merrifield in another all-Chevy row 4. In fact, it's all Chevrolets from 4th down to 8th, where Nathan Merrifield is. Cameron Saro breaks that up, though, and Jake Miller rounds out the top 10. 11th place to Ryan Daly in the O2, who's in front of Jay English there in 12th position. Row 7 is Mark Dingman and Tyler Miller there in the Fords, and the halfway in the field is 15th and Austin Stamper. Dylan Jackson just in the bottom half there in 16th position. 17th is Jesse James, who's just in front of Jason Reeves. Lots of Toyotas towards this part of the field, by the way. In fact, 16th to 21st are Toyotas, including Caleb Hunt and Cody Johnson, who round out the top 20. Sean Lester, who we saw there very late on, just misjudged his lap slightly, is going to start 21st in front of James Tate, one of our 2 Canadians in the field tonight. Justin Martin and Steve Cunningham will then be on row 12. 25th is Logan Nuka ahead of Trevor Thomas. These are getting towards the drivers, by the way, who didn't qualify. John Russo and Troy Graber, who will share row 14 in front of Caleb Ross. And so far, Jason Trockey is not actually on the grid in the 46 car. Hopefully he will start from 30th. So we do have one more entry than actually what we had last week, which is pretty remarkable from Daytona. So we're not far off the situation, Charles, where we're going to end up pre-qualifying and having to knock some people out or something, because we'll be getting towards 40, which is the limit these days, but 30 is a plenty big enough field here for Atlanta Motor Speedway tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna provide a lot of action with 30 cars out there as seeing the cars work their way around here on the pace lap. Trying to see a few cars, giving it the old wiggle, trying to get a little heat in those tires. Obviously, we talk about this week in, week out. The first couple of laps, you've really got to be patient and careful, making sure that you get those tires good and warm get them set, make sure you get good entries into the corners, and it's easy to just go out guns blazing, and the next thing you know, you're in the wall in turn one, and that's your race over after about 7 seconds. So it's going to be patience is critical here at the start, and then once we get rolling and kind of settle out a little bit, we'll see some really good racing tonight.
55 laps in the first stage. We're expecting the 75% fuel capacity to take these drivers about 43 laps at Atlanta tonight. See how many green flag stops we indeed get here. Could be quite a busy night, and those temperatures are not going to make it easy. 102 Fahrenheit as we get ready to go racing. It's the Southern Showdown 200 in the Action Roofing Cup Series with Green in Atlanta.
Yeah, here we go. Everybody getting wound up, headed down into one for the first time. 2x2 all the way back. Doesn't look like anybody's slipped or anything, so we had a really good start there. And you see the sparks off the tires as these cars are just planted down on the surface, and every little bump is going to just send up a shower of sparks as the splitters hitting the track here. But Parrott off with a good start and has got himself a lead over Nordine.
Yes, Ramati and Nogue, who were on the front row together, are third and fourth already. And on the inside of Nogue there is Zach Tyndall in the 43. He's going to get a push from Daly, almost modern super speedway style there through the quad oval, but not quite. Parrott, though, is taking the race lead up 2 places already. Nordine up 3 on the opening lap.
Yeah, absolutely is. Not seeing anybody. I've seen a couple movers up. Dylan Jackson's down 4 spots, but obviously early yet is just everybody getting settled in here. But you can see already some decisions being made by some of our drivers on what line they're going to run. You see some cars down on the bottom. You see some cars running that high line, and you see some just kind of splitting the difference. And I think as we go, this is one of those tracks that the line just kind of works its way up toward the top, just for tire preservation, if nothing else.
Down the backstretch, Parrott was under pressure into turn 3 last time from Nordine, who's looking to the inside again. You can see Parrott running that sort of middle lane, if you like. There's 3 grooves carved out of 3 and 4 there, and Nordine's just on that lower side there, looking to the inside of Parrott, and he has done that on a few occasions already here.
Yeah, he's just taking a look around, seeing what he can see, keeping some air on the nose. It's probably helping his handling a little bit, but now getting a good run there out of the corner and going to be almost side by side with Parrott there coming down the backstretch as now is even odds coming down in through 3 and is going to let's see what kind of run he gets coming out of 3 and 4. Looks like it was pretty good there. A little blockage there from the grandstands, but I think he's going to get the lead here for the first time. No, did not quite get it, I don't think.
He's still there. Nordine on the inside, Parrott on the outside. On lap 5 in Atlanta tonight, he holds on to the lead. Her is this time on the inside of Nogue. Earlier on it was the 43 of Zach Tyndall. Now Christopher Herr having a look down the inside there for 4th position in this front group, which is defining itself really of 17 drivers breaking away. Contact with the wall for Cameron Sorrow, who comes over the line there absolutely dead level with Zach Tyndall for 6th position.
Yeah, and you see Tyndall working low, and Sorrow just cuts that line off as he drops to the bottom going into the corner and comes back up the track a little bit, trying to get a little bit better run out. Maybe these cars that are running the bottom line are finding themselves kind of getting bound up there down on the bottom, and it's just by moving up a car width is freeing up just a little bit that they can get a better run out of the corner. And I think that was what kept Parrott up there with Nordine. Running that outside line just seemed to be a little easier. The car was a little freer coming through the corner and out to get a good run.
Through 1 and 2 again, we right on board. There's a good run from Daly there on Hurt. We run on board with
on board with Merrifield there as he was tracking the 28 car of Her. Not able to do anything yet, as you see Her has slid down to the bottom just a little bit, taking that middle line, and now we got a battle here with the 43 as he is now under the 60. He's going to see if he can work his way around and pick up that position. That's Tyndall down on the bottom with Dingman up high as English is there as well. And it looks like he's going to get everything. Not going to be able to capitalize on that as, once again, the car just kind of washes out, falls away coming out of the corner off that low line.
It's been interesting so far the way this has really not split apart very much at all, and it makes me wonder, is that because the front of the race is not particularly quick at the moment because the draft is keeping them in very close? I'm very interested to find out, really, because I know it's been a while since Atlanta was resurfaced and at 4 degrees of banking added. It was 2022 when that started to be a thing, but it's only 5 years ago. I don't remember the early stages of the old Atlanta races quite being like this. It used to spread out more than this, I thought, but the field staying remarkably close so far.
Yeah, they really are. They are staying pretty close together, and the draft is absolutely helping that. And, once again, we had a lot of cars getting a lot of laps in practice, and maybe that's kind of equalized the field just a little bit. But I think they're right now just kind of searching for that line that's going to help them move forward. And, as we see the little car brush off the wall there, that was the 60, I believe. As he's coming down low now. But, that high line, once again, I feel like is going to come in, and that's going to be the fast way around, and it's going to make things very difficult as far as getting past on the low side, because it looks like the low side not really quite working just yet.
Yeah, nobody's really made that work so far. We've seen Joe Nordine looking there, but with no success, really. Another look here from Dingman, it looks like, who's trying to make some moves there on the inside. Bit of movement on the back stretch there from Cameron Sorrow. Nearly went straight into the side of Dingman. A little bit restless now in the bottom end of the top 10. Dingman able to slide straight in front of Sorrow. And the guys... Oh, and a slide and a spin for Dingman. He holds onto it through the grass. He's going to have to come down the pit lane here as he bounces and bounces again over the infield. Dingman holds onto it, but he goes to the back.
Yeah, I haven't seen a ride like that since the last time I was at a rodeo. He was in the air all four. That car was just bucking down there in the grass, and that was a great hold to keep that car from spinning out and getting back onto getting it back onto the track. And you see the just bumps up into the barrier there, and here we go for the ride as we see the car just flying through the air here through the infield grass, and does just a fantastic job of just getting that car settled down while it's doing everything it can to spin him out and throw him loose. But well done by Dingman there.
That was very well controlled from Mark Dingman there to hold on to that race car and stay in the pack, although he is off the back there in 29th, fairly significantly off the back indeed. There he is in the 60. A non-start for Jason Trocchi tonight, by the way, so 29 starters, exactly as we had last week, by the way. Side by side all the way down. Around the outside for Jay English, holding on again with 3 wide coming down the backstretch this time round. In the wall, the 43 this time. The back straight is not exactly dead straight, and people keep seeming to bump in the wall there when they're on the outside of somebody coming in towards turn 3 there.
Yeah, absolutely. As you see it is an oval, so it is not technically not straight back there on the back corner. But Tyndall's still trying to work that bottom. He got a good run that time into the corner to get past Nogue that time. That's, I think, the way that you're going to have to make those moves. You're going to have to really push the car hard into the corner. Obviously, that's going to put a lot of work there on the right front, and it's going to wear them out. But obviously, I think I heard them say 3 spare sets of tires today, so plenty of tires on tap for these cars, and now caution out.
Caution out for the first time, 15 laps complete, and we'll find out. I think there may have been a big smash up at the back, actually. Trevor
86.
Thomas, Steve Cunningham, and John Russo seem to be all in trouble here. This is Russo in the 59, already happening in front of him, and he piles in to whatever's happened here into turn 3.
Yeah, and that was Trey Graber and the 12 car of Logan Euchre as well. That was the wreck up to the front there as these cars were going around. And you can see a car in the back way high. As a matter of fact, he was scraping the wall the whole way down as we were looking here from the high shot. And you see the car up against the wall, and then just contact there with the 27 and the 86. And then there's the 12 and the 14 getting involved as well. 59 comes in late. So, and now the 95 in there as well. So several cars involved. We'll see. I think those obviously we don't have the fast repair tonight, so that is one change from last week. We said that was a one-time deal. So whatever damage you've got to work it off the hard way and make yourself a few pit stops here early to try and get that car repaired. And we'll see some front end damage on several of them. As there's another car in the grass, Nogue looks like his car is pretty scraped up. The Action Roofing number 63 there has been in the wall a couple of times with some front end damage on that car as well.
I wonder if that just happened because Zach Tinder was driving down the grass there.
I wonder if it was maybe on pit entry or something. Yeah.
So we're all trying to sort of fake each other. I mean, we've had 15 laps here, pretty much dead on as we got the caution there, which makes me think a little bit. This is sort of the time to pit. I mean, or one of them. I mean, you can make it to the end of the stage by stopping at this point. You can't make it to the end at the moment on fuel for the leaders. So it's those who haven't stopped. So yeah, interesting. Trey Grabber only 7 seconds in the box. It's a longer stop for Nogue. You're right that he's got some damage to repair. John Russo takes 4 spare tyres, so does Mark Dingman, so does Caleb Ross. Logan Nuka also taking some repairs here, and we'll wait and see how long those are. For Nogue, 43 seconds, and the fact that he was comfortably out in front of Joshua Parent making his way back out around the racetrack means that Nogue probably has got all that damage repaired there during that pit stop, which is a big positive for him.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see the 12 coming back out onto the track, and that was because I was going to say if we kept going that Dingman, by catching that car down on the bottom, saved potentially a lot of damage or throwing a caution, but because the caution didn't come out, he lost a lot of time. So this was kind of a saving grace for him. This will allow him to get back at the back of the field, and we've got a few cars back there that's got some tires, so we'll see how that's going to work. I did not get a chance to look at the lap times as we were just before that caution flag. I'll see, just take a look here at Josh Parrott. Yeah, so already those from a 30.54, which was his fastest lap, the lap before the caution flag was a 32.8. So you can see already those tires starting to wear. And so those guys in the back are going to have about a 1 second per lap advantage. So they're going to feel like rockets coming up through the field. So they're going to have to be very careful where they make their moves. And then, you have to keep an eye out on the cars up here still running, because that'll eventually wear down, and you'll be even odds again.
Into the DesertDiecast.com restart zone, and we're back underway in the Southern Showdown 200. Try and get underway without spinning out after these couple of moments under caution. Slightly colder tyres than what they had before, as Joshua Parent gets us underway. Big moment here as we find out just how beneficial these new tyres can really be.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're back underway here, and just taking a look, I was going to see how Nordine got on that restart. He had a chance maybe to kind of hang it on the outside and see if that was going to be a faster line for him, but not able to keep up with Parent. His Parent back in the lead, but there's a nice battle side by side between the 31 and the 20. The 28. Lester and her, as Lester's up 15 positions already, so he's having himself quite an early run here.
Seems to be maybe even higher than they were before on this restart here in the early laps of the restart from the caution number 1. We're not that far away from halfway in stage 1, don't forget, here at 55 laps. And another caution now.
Ooh.
More trouble. Mark Dingman involved again, I think, or is it somebody else? Daniel Nogue's also losing a couple of places. It is the same guys involved. Daniel Nogue obviously not before, but he has stopped to beat back there. The 12 and the 27 involved again, though, on this occasion. Caleb Ross and Logan Uka involved again. And it's happened. It started in front of them again before they collide with one another again.
Yeah, I couldn't quite see. It was with that the car up in front. Maybe the James Tate in the 88, I think, is Ernest maybe giving us the shot there. We're going to get another replay here from the front. Yeah, 88 and 20 just got into each other down going into the corner. And the 88 got the worst of that. And you see the calamities behind with the 27 now into the 63 and the 12. So and once again, Caleb Ross involved, Daniel Nogue involved in in the incident this time, and so trouble finding Nogue early here, as just nowhere really to go. We tried to check up, and these cars don't have brake lights, unfortunately, so you don't know. You just gotta be prepared to stop whenever and wherever, and a couple guys did not get that memo, unfortunately.
Well, it looks like Caleb Ross is done. He's down in the wall there through 3 and 4. He's been now he's gone. He's been there since the caution came out there. Steve Cunningham's going to get back on the lead lap with the free pass there, as long as he wasn't too involved with the caution there. Dingman, Tate, Nogue, Russo all into the pit lane. Still, these guys who are out front have not stopped. It's amazing to me, really. We're so close to halfway now. You can definitely make it on fuel. We're seeing the difference, as you commented, in terms of tyre wear. Seems pretty severe to me. And so few of this field have come in. Still, the top 21 in this field have yet to come in this race. Yeah, and,
obviously the tires, they kind of feel like that the tires are going to have to last a little longer than maybe they would want. And so they're going to try and ride these out as long as they can, and just kind of pace themselves here at the beginning of the race, and save those tires for a little bit later. Probably not a bad call. I don't know. Now with even more cars have came in and got some tires on board, this may make it a little more challenging for those mid-pack guys for sure, as those cars try and work their way up through. And that might have been something. That might have been a reason that we had the incident here just a minute ago, is maybe a mismatch of tires with cars working their way down. So we'll see once again, as I believe we are. Coming up to the green flag here as they're starting to go. Are they going single file this time? So maybe single file this time around, or maybe we're still waiting on the lights to go off. But either way, we'll be going back green here very, very soon, and we'll see if there we go. There's a 75 side by side. So we'll see if Nordine can get a better run here at the start and maybe hold it to the outside. If he can keep Parent pinned to the bottom, he's got a chance to maybe get a pass done.
This is a single file restart, it looks like. So
it is.
Yeah, Nordine is getting a bit restless, wants to be side by side, but it's going to be a single file restart here just to try and get this race back under green again. I think race control want to prevent this from going caution after caution after caution until the stage break. As I mentioned last week, there's really no time limit on these races. I mean, well, there is. There's 3 hours, but we're not going to need all of those. Even if, as I said last week, even if we run the whole race under caution, so it will be fine on that.
I think, if I remember correctly, as we're in the Desert Diecast restart zone, I think it's 10 laps of green before we go double file. So if it's under 10 laps, it's a single file restart.
Well, that makes sense, and good ruling maybe to have as well, as we get the green flag again, and it's a much more orderly restart. I mean, we saw in the previous runs anyway, even if they were restarting double file, they generally migrated to the top, and they stayed there in single file, apart from a few who were curious and trying to make places down on the low side. This single file restart surely just going to speed up that process.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, as I think most of the front runners have already kind of just started riding the high line, as we see the 21 falling back, the 18 going underneath him, getting that move done, as there are a couple cars that are sliding a little further back there as we get forward. I think Jake Miller in that 21 also hasn't been in the pits yet, so he is one of those cars that's still on the initial set of tires, and maybe not really helping him out very much here on this restart. As we're looking now, here we go, Merrifield and Sorrow, Zach Tyndall there in the 43, a little high there, as I think we see the 48 going down low. That Shermati down on the bottom of English, and he's going to make that move and should slide right up the track, and does indeed. There you go, sliding back in. And that's how we're going to see passes made here as these tires wear, is you're just going to have to kind of go hard into the corner, get a good run, go hard in the corner, and just kind of slide your way up the track in front of the car after you get clear.
Caution again. Caution on lap 26 here, just coming towards the end, and Nogue's involved again here. Goodness me, Steve Cunningham seems to be involved again. Let's see, it's the guys at the back again. Yep. And Nogue is arriving late into the fray. Now, who goes around first? It's
The 95 and the 86 is Cunningham, and the 95 is Trevor Thomas again. And once again, just block the track, nowhere for those to go, and no involved. Trey Graver is back there as well. So you see as we're coming through, you see just the 95 just was losing the car. He had to lift out down on that low line, and just nowhere for the cars behind him to go as he just ran out of racetrack with cars up high on the outside. You can't move up because you're just going to run into somebody. So unfortunate that the 95 just looked like he was off the pace, and I just kind of feel like maybe he felt like the rear end was coming around. And he just had to lift out and try and get the car collected. And once again, is one of those tracks that is kind of unforgiving in that manner. Is you can't make any sudden moves, or you're liable to spin yourself out just trying to avoid another incident.
Now stops for Braxton Merrifield, who's from the front of the field. Same for Tyler Miller, Jake Miller, Caleb Hunt, Mark Dingman, Daniel Nogue, obviously, and all those at the back, Cunningham, Thomas, Russo, Ross. And by the way, John Russo and Caleb Ross have been there for a while. But still, the top 16 have stayed out this time around. I just cannot explain this at the moment, because to me, they would need... I mean, maybe the calculations of fuel that I'm doing at the moment are completely wrong, but to me, to make it to the end of the stage without stopping, you'd need 6 cautions. Based on the pace that they've got with old tyres already, never mind doubling this and going to 55 laps, it doesn't make much sense on tyres. I just cannot explain what the front guys are doing at the moment.
Yeah, I think the tires are going to become an issue before the fuel does, and I think what we'll see is, unfortunately, what may happen is we may see one of these front runners go around and bring out a caution, and I think that's the impetus to force a lot of these guys to come into the pit. But yeah, they're trying once again, just trying to extend the tires out as long as they can do it. But at some point, I think that they're just going to have to come down pit road and get a fresh set, and then top their tank. So we'll probably see a few of these guys come in, in the next 5 to 10 laps. But I think we'll get another green flag run here before we see any movement in this the front of this field.
Speaking of movement, Sean Lester has moved up from 22nd in qualifying to 6th place currently. A great run through for the driver of the 31. He's not just got a good livery to look at, but also a good starting position for this restart. It looks like he would be on the outside of row 3, were it to be double file, but it will be, according to the rules, another single file restart. That does mean I always tend to miss when we actually go green, because I forget how many laps we've done on the caution. The lights are off on the pace car though, and so that's the big giveaway. We will be under green very, very shortly. With still only 2 drivers seemingly out the race, or at the very least taking on long repairs, John Russo and Caleb Ross, from not this caution but the previous one to this 3rd caution of the night. Into the DesertDiecast.com restart zone again, and for the 3rd time tonight, Joshua Parent, 4th of course if you had the actual start of the race. He will get us underway again in Atlanta. And the green flag is back in the air with just over 25 until the stage.
Yep, here we go once again, as we'll see. Once again, Daniel Nogue has still managed to hang on to the lead lap, which is great. He's been involved in other people's wrecks, hasn't done anything on his own, but he just happens to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. But is hanging on there and is running 27th, and I'm going to assume at some point he's put some fresh tires on that car, and probably going to be quick, because he obviously was fast at the beginning of the race. As we see a good battle here with the 02 and the 75. That's Ryan Daly on the outside. He's going to get that run. The 75 is going to try and stick to the bottom and take the short way around. Not quite sure he's going to get it done. He is indeed just slides up, and that's the danger of that move, is that you got to be pretty precise there. But now the 02 looking to the bottom to see if he can return the favor there on the 75. Not quite able to get it done.
So let's see the lap time this time round for Parent. He's not been really interrupted by anybody, and it gives us a good idea as to what the actual lap time's going to be. 31.6, so just over a second off his absolute best. It's not terrible, but it's still at a stage where I would want tyres, to be honest with you. And the guys who are on tyres are starting to make moves just at the top of your screen. They're a bit disconnected from the rest, but Braxton Merrifield has moved up ahead of the others. Tyler Miller as well. They're starting to make inroads into the guys who've not stopped yet, and clearly the tyres are making a difference. Those guys pitted on the most recent caution, so they're completely undamaged as well. But it's going to be a lot of traffic, which is maybe what's been putting these top guys off for a while. They didn't want to go back in the traffic, I suppose.
Yeah, last lap for Parent, 31.87. Last lap for the 82 of Braxton Merrifield, 31.15 in traffic. So you can see that those new tires are making a difference, but the only thing that's really keeping him from surging forward is just navigating his way through the other cars. So he's got to be very careful, but obviously got really good pace at this point, and he's already moved up another position just past Cody Johnson in the 11th.
Side by side over the line, right the way down the field here at Atlanta tonight in the Action Roofing Cup Series second round from Atlanta, the Gen 6 season. It's going to go on until the end of January, 24 weeks. That is a big slide coming off of 4 for the 28 of Her, who has gone right down below the yellow line, comes back, or the white line, comes back on, and we stay green. But this is a high energy pack right now. There's a lot of danger involved in this one. You wouldn't want to be in the middle of it, but that's exactly why we find ourselves on board right now with Caleb Hunt in the 78.
Yeah, Caleb Hunt and Braxton Merrifield are both moving up. Caleb Hunt's, they were side by side there. As you see him go down low, and that is what those new tires are going to be good for, is that low line as everybody else is trying to stay high. Those cars with the tires are going to be able to take that low line and make it stick, at least for a few laps. It'll eventually wear down, but for the next 10 laps or so, those cars are going to be really racy. So they got to get there. They got to get up while they can. And try and hold it off as we see the gap now has opened up. Parent up 0.3 over Nordine. Nordine another full second back to P3 there of Daly.
They've also got to hope for no cautions from here until the end of the stage, I think, because even if the other guys can make it on fuel to the end of this stage, they're going to have pretty bad tyres. And look at the difference for the 78 down there. Caleb Hunt is about to scratch the top 3 now, coming to the end of lap 37. There's 18 to go until the end of stage 1, and Caleb Hunt's going to take the full 10 points if this stays green to the end, I think.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. He is absolutely on a flyer, as just cleared the O2 to get into P3, and has already cut that gap up to Nordine in half. As we see Jason Trocchi, he actually did make it out here and ran a few laps and now pulled down to the bottom. So he did make it. Unfortunately, a little later than he probably wanted to make it for the start, but he did come out and run a few laps. So we can say that he did start the race and did compete a little bit there. And is now Hunt up to P2 and is on the hunt for Josh Parent and is closing that down quickly. We'll see it. Watch here as we go through the corner, how much gains there just through the corners here, and he's going to make a move right down on the bottom and is just going to slingshot his way around and take over the lead of this race.
So for the first time tonight, we've got a new leader, and it is Caleb Hunt, who is racing through the field, up 18 on where he qualified, up even more on where he restarted. Now watch this group behind as the others try and follow. Braxton Merrifield doing the same here. That looks like, Tyler Miller in the 18 is also looking to the inside here. These guys on newer tyres are absolutely laughing all the way to the stage at the moment if this stays green, but it is a big if because there is high risk involved with these new tyre guys coming past the old tyres. There's high risk for a caution, and that was super close between Miller and Saro there for 7th place.
Yeah, absolutely was, and as we see a car up, was that Lester up in the wall? As just carries it a little too deep and just floats up the track into the wall, gets it recovered, and it continues on. But once again, these tires on some of these cars are really starting to wear down. And it's as long as you're running the high line for these cars on old tires, it's fine. It's when you go down to try and block these faster guys is when you run into issues because you just got to realize that, hey, that's not your fight right now. You got to get through and work your strategy, get to the point to where you can come in, take fuel and tires, and then you're going to be faster than them.
Well, there's some green flag pit stops happening down the back, by the way. Jesse James, Jason Reeves, Cody Johnson, Justin Martin, all into pit lane at the moment under green. So if these guys who have not stopped yet have to pit under green, then they could get, I mean, this race will be totally transformed. There'll be less than 10 on the lead lap, I would guess, and they won't, get a free pass back again, unless, of course, all the lead lap guys come in under the stage caution and they all stay out, which might happen. But I'd be tempted to trap them all a lap down if I was on the lead lap, to be honest with you.
I think I would try that myself. Yeah, I think that's the smart strategy is, okay, I don't have to come in. I've got fuel to run at least 10 laps or so. Keep them back there. If you get another caution, they're still all lap down. Come in and get your work done after that. But, yeah, it's a solid strategy is to try and keep as many cars you can pinned a lap down if we end up having green flag pit stops.
To be honest, I think there's been too much so far in this race of thinking, how many green flag laps have I done? These tyres aren't that bad yet. And not enough, have I got enough fuel to get to the stage? And, people weren't really, I don't think, thinking at the end of the third caution especially, that this race could go green to the end of the stage. They thought, well, there's definitely going to be another one. I mean, it's never guaranteed, and certainly not when you've got single file restarts. So I'm baffled by some of the decision making from those on the lead lap here. Right now, Ryan Daly in the 0-2 has had to come in for his first pit stop of the day under green. I mean, these guys who haven't stopped yet must be kicking themselves now, or at least they should be.
Yeah, and then I think Daly maybe realized, hey, maybe I can get out here and get these tires on a couple of laps early and pick up a few seconds on those guys I was battling with earlier. But as you see, the top five is Josh Parent, and then the other four guys who have taken tires. Caleb Hunt leading, Braxton Merrifield second, Tyler Miller third, Parent in fourth, and then Jake Miller in fifth. And once again, Parent's the only car out there that's able to just marginally keep pace with these guys on the new tires, and is doing yeoman's work out there, just managing to get that done. But that's gonna keep getting worse before it gets better.
It is 10 to go until the end of the first stage. Now, if he can just survive on fuel here, any of these guys, then that's fine. I mean, they might not get many stage points, but I think that is still fine. I mean, Josh Parent, don't forget, won the stage last week as well as the race at Daytona. He's not going to repeat that tonight as far as things are standing at the moment. As we go back to the battle for sixth place, this is Nordin versus Stramati. This is two drivers who also haven't stopped yet. But and they've got Cameron right behind them who hasn't either. But Dingman and Cunningham will be coming through. I mean, they're getting beaten by Dingman and Cunningham, who've been involved in 3 crashes already. They're going to be beaten by them fair and square as Joshua Parent comes into the pit lane with 9 to go. This is absolutely baffling.
Yeah, I think I saw Nordin come in as well, but maybe not. Somebody else from the front came in. But, yeah, you can see green flag stops. There it is, Stramati. That's who it was as he comes in as well. And, yeah, it's just one of those that,
way through his box.
Yep.
Stramati way through his box, and that's even worse under green.
Oh, yeah, that's terrible. That's another 3 or 4 seconds of loss there as we see more cars now pitting. Just Nordin is one of those. As you just see the cream rising to the top here, those guys that's on the tires and just got to just drive as hard as they can here until we get to this stage with these guys that are just now coming into the pits. They're going to be lethally fast for these last 8 laps, but you've got them at a point now that you can keep them pinned down, and so you've got to kind of go for it.
Now, there could be a real race to get back on the lead lap as well among these front guys. Josh Parent is only just a lap down at the moment. He's about a lap and a quarter behind Caleb Hunt, but of course his tyres are 20 laps younger. So actually it's the reverse now, where Parent has got the new tyres and these guys suddenly look like they're all at sea with the tyres that they have. Although they're not that old, they're just old in comparison. So it's going to look very strange soon. But the first one a lap down is Jesse James, I think. No, sorry, it's Trey Gober at the moment, but he's obviously going to drop behind Josh Parent now. So Parent is now the first driver 1 lap down. Now he's going to get a free pass, so he'll be one of the lucky ones. But he and the others will be racing to try and get past Caleb Hunt here before lap 55 so that they can try and stay on the lead lap. So as if somebody does try and trap everybody a lap down, which I wouldn't count out at all, then they're at least, some of them are going to make it here if they race past the race leader Caleb Hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're on 6 to go here, you see the O2 just flying by underneath the 12 and the 1, and that is one of those cars that just came in and got tires. So see the 60 battling with the 88 there as Dingman and the 86 of Cunningham as the O2 just cutting through. I mean, down low, up high, doesn't matter, and that is what those new tires will do. And they are working their way up to the front with 5 to go. It is going to be very tight to see how many of these cars can get back on the lead lap before we get to our stage break.
4 to go. I'm not confident any of them are going to at the moment. Jesse James has just got past Josh Parent, by the way. Where's he come from? He's had a very early stop there on lap 40. He was one of the early takers. So he has decided to make an early stop, and he's got an undercut on Parent, and now he's just caught and passed him. What a drive from Jesse James in this stage of the race, as Cameron Saro held on to the bitter end there on lap 51 and now has to come in. He was trying to catch a caution, hasn't happened, and he's going to be a long way back.
He is indeed. Oh, caution out.
Wow, that'll be the stage. We're too close to the end of the stage now to resume. So that will be the stage, and Nogue's involved again, this time with the 14. And is that the 14?
Yep.
Yeah, 14 and somebody else on the back straight. That very uneven back straight is causing trouble so far tonight.
Yep. Was it that was the 2021? The 21, I think, just ricocheted off the wall and came down as they were 3 wide, almost 4 wide. We see the cars just catching them, and he's doing his best to hang on as we see the 60 low. Everybody coming down low. He's trying to give room, but you see just losing the rear of the car, and 60 around. I think somebody else involved in that as well. I think you said Nogue. 14 down low. I think he missed at that time, so maybe he got a little lucky there. But the 63 is looks like he's okay. So we'll see. It kind of looks like he's all right.
He had to slow down. He locked it up. That was all the smoke was about. He locked up, trying to avoid. He was 3 wide himself here, and he wouldn't have known where he was going. Yeah, there we go. He would have been scared about getting involved again there, but survived. Now, we've got even more baffling pit decisions here, because it depends what they decide to do with the stage here, because we're going to cross the stage under caution, and that normally means that we just take the points from when the caution flew, but not everyone might know that. At the moment, the top 7 have stayed out, and yes, there might be a reason for that, because they want to trap some of the other guys a lap down, and they would succeed in trapping everybody apart from Jesse James, who's got the free pass 1 lap down, and reduce this to just 12 on the lead lap. But it doesn't take all of them to set out to do that, so I suspect some of them have not quite understood that they maybe could have pitted there and still preserved their points, because as I say, normally, haven't had official word from race control, but normally when a caution comes out and we cross the stage under caution, the points are taken from when the caution flies, and so those points will already be awarded, and Caleb Hunt will already have the 10 in the bag.
Yep, I think that's exactly right. As we're seeing, I saw Parent just come into the pits again and got tires. So I'm curious as to whether or not he got tires the last time he came in, because it hasn't been that long since he came in for a pit stop. So I don't know that he came in and took fuel only that first time, but it is kind of a weird thing to see him taking tires that time. But that just means he's going to be extremely fast here on the restart.
That graphic suggests there that he only took fuel, but we can never know unless we see the pit stop, which obviously is not going to happen. So not entirely sure. In any case, he was never going to get the wave around there anyway, so I think it's not a bad idea, even if he did take tyres the previous time, to come in and do that again, because he's not going to get the wave around, so he might as well take some even more newer tyres compared to some of the others. So the top 7 are all on very old tyres at this point, coming up to 30 laps, and over 30 laps in the case of James Tate. The next 5 are all on the lead lap, but on new tyres. Nathan Merrifield, Logan Uka, Jake Miller, Jesse James, although he'll be at the back, and Mark Dingman. And then the rest of them, or the next, all the way down to 25th, are 1 lap down. Most of them on much newer tyres, to the tune of 15 laps at least newer than the front 7. So we've got a very strange scenario with about 75 laps to go here tonight from Atlanta. And I'm not sure whether we're going green this time round or next time.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I was going to say I would think that would be a double file restart. We did. It was a nice green flag run that we had there. So I think we're going to be one to go. I think when we hit the line this time. So
might be complicated. Sorry, because 6 of the 7 who'd stayed out have all come in. I think those all didn't realise that they could come in and keep their points. I mean, maybe they can't. Maybe the rules have changed. But that last season when we were doing this, we definitely brought it back to when the caution flew in these scenarios. But anyway, 4 tyres taken but apart from Caleb Hunt. So for those who would have been hoping for a wave by because of this, that still hasn't happened because the leaders stayed out. And that means whenever the leader stays out under a caution, nobody gets a wave by. When it's the others who stay out a bit further down, it gets a bit more complicated. But when the leader stays out, no one gets a wave by other than the lucky dog. And so Caleb Hunt is trapping everybody other than the top 12 at 1 lap down.
Yeah, pretty smart. I would do the same thing if I can trap half the field down with some very, very fast cars a lap down. Now that's absolutely what I would do. He may pay for it just a little bit here before we get this restart. He may drop out of the lead just from tires, but he's going to be on the lead lap, and it's going to be as he coming in now. So he's going to come in and take his stop. Okay. And that is going to kind of drop him down the order just a little bit as there are still a few cars there on the lead lap. So he's going to relinquish the lead. He's going to wait to the very last minute, come in and get fuel. We'll see if he takes tires as well. Let's see if is that car goes up on the jacks. It is indeed. So he's going to have at least 2 fresh tires. And we'll see the other side go up. But he's going to drop down to P12.
However, the top 23 will now be on the lead lap rather than the top 12. So that's the difference. I don't know if we can see the pace car at the moment, or maybe they've already gone past. But there's going to be a lot of lapped cars starting from the front, sort of old school style, when there was no wave bys back in the lap cars on the inside rule, whatever you used to call that, and. Or they're all going to get waved by. I don't know if we can see the pace car here and try and actually find out what's happening at the moment with these lap guys. So there's the 0-2. That is Brian Daly, who was the first car 1 lap down. Now, as it looks like race control have been continuously extending this caution by 1 lap because stuff keeps happening, which means that we can't go green the next time round, i.e. lots of the lead lap guys are coming into pit lane. So I kind of want to see what's happening at the front, Ahmet, if we can, with Ryan Daly, who's surely going to be the front of the safety car queue. Ryan Daly surely going to lead a group of about 10 past the pace car in a sec, or they're going to be passed by everybody because the wave bys have already happened and the leaders are going to come diving down the inside here in a second, or indeed they're going to restart from the front. Oh, anything could happen here. I've never seen so much drama under a caution. They don't seem to be going past the pace car, though.
It doesn't appear so, and it maybe just means they're going to be on the tail end of the lead lap. Yeah. So they're going to be up in front, but obviously there's going to be some very quick cars on fresh tires behind them, this kind of feels like this is going to be a really quick caution again, just from what happened during that caution period. There's a lot of different strategies being put into play here. And I don't know that it's going to work out for everybody, unfortunately. But, yeah, so they're going to start from the tail end of the lead line. Your leader is the number 1 car of Nathan Merrifield, but he's several cars back here in this line. And it'd be interesting to see how far back he was, as if we can find that number 1. There you go. So it looks like there's at least, probably 10 or so in front of him. So he's got Josh Parent leading right in front of him. And we'll see if any of these guys can hang on here to this the tail end of the lead lap, and then they'll get to go around naturally here as the lights are back on the safety car. Yeah,
we've just been messaged by Trey that there's some issues at race control at the moment. They're just trying to sort out what the order should be, and now this is what I was expecting. So the wave round guys are now going to get their chance to come past here, and that will put the top 23 onto the lead lap. Now, that puts Cameron Saro and Zach Tyndall, the only ones who are only 1 lap down, and they'll therefore be fighting for the free pass on this restart. Jackson's still in the race at 2 laps down at the moment. Dylan Jackson Troy Kreiber's been in there for a couple of laps, unfortunately. He's going to go 4 laps down at the moment. John Russo's out of the race. Caleb Ross has been in there for nearly half an hour, so he's probably out of it as well. So this is a lot more like what we were expecting.
Yeah.
I think we still might go green this time, though, with Nathan Merrifield. If they're they might extend it by another lap, just so that everybody who should be wave by actually gets that, because there should be 11 wave bys, but and that's a lot. But we might be going green this time round. You can see the movers and shakers so far. You can see what this rather strange first stage has done to this race. Logan Hooker up 23 places, Cunningham and Thomas up 17 and 18. As the 29 now goes past as well. That's Cameron Sarro, who's getting back onto the lead lap. Passing Merrifield. The DesertDiecut.com restart zone is here, and there's somebody else passing the leader as they come to the green. This is a very bizarre restart, but we're back underway in Atlanta.
Yeah, and that was Zach Tyndall, I believe, the 43 car, as Nathan Merrifield gets a great start, 1 second gap over Euchre. And so now we've got some cars that maybe not used to being up to the front of this field, up at the front. And we've got some cars in the mid-pack are on older tires for sure. Jesse James, his last pit was lap 40, so he's going to be maybe a little bit off. Shermati as well, lap 46, and we're working we're coming up to lap 60. So those guys are going to be a hazard here until some of these cars with new fresh tires or get through. So we have to be very careful as we watch the mid-pack here. We see the 88 down low getting a run there on the 95, and it looks like he's going to get clear. Tate getting that position there as then you get the 21 right in front of the 60. And that is a battle, as you see the 18 way down low, just making his move around everybody and getting up a couple of spots at once.
Well, I've never seen a restart like this before, I've got to say, here at the Action Roofing Cup Series. The Southern Showdown 200 giving us some surprises tonight. I'm sure there'll be an inquest into that caution at the end of the day, because that was rather odd. But anyway, on Bobby Cunningham, who gets past the 21 of Jake Miller. And again, what that caution hasn't changed, although the guys who were at the front earlier have at least got their wave by, and they're at least on the lead lap. Nobody decided on the lead lap to try and trap them there, which we absolutely would have done, but
yep, for sure.
They decided not to. That's all fine, but they're still not in the lead, and still some very surprising names in the top 10 at the moment. That hasn't changed, even despite all the wave round stuff that we've seen there.
Yeah, absolutely is. There's some surprising names, but I'm going to shout out, I believe it's is it Team 802? I'm just trying to remember our teams there. Let's see if I get this screenshot. It's 812. So that is the Merrifields and the Millers. I think all those cars at the beginning of this were in the top 10. So that's they're having themselves quite a good team point stay for sure.
Yeah, indeed. Teams Championship at the moment. We've already talked about the Drivers' Championship, which is basically the fact that Josh Parent won the race last week. But Prophecies Racing leading the points in the teams by 28 in front of Bullpack Racing, and Firehouse Racing rounding out the top 3 with 83. Prophecies Racing, by the way, have Michael Dadamo, Cameron Sarro, Josh Parent, Dylan Jackson on their team, and considering they were 1 and 2 with Parent and Sarro over the start-finish line to finish at Daytona, no surprise that they are indeed first in the points at the end of round number 1. There's a very long way to go, and of course no playoff implications in those team points. That will remain sort of normal all throughout. Side by side for the lead meantime, Nathan Merrifield on the outside continuing to lead laps, and Mark Dingman challenging him in the 60.
Yeah, 60's having himself a good run. Obviously he's got some good fresh tires, and most of the cars up front are pretty much equal by up to like maybe 2 laps difference between them. So not a lot of difference in the front runners here. So it's going to be how long can they go as we try and see if we can get to that green flag pit stop time. I think everybody's taking tires for the end here. Once we get there, if we're talking 50 or so laps, then we'll be able to get well and truly in toward the last 20 laps or so here for that last set of tires to come onto the car and have us a bit of a race, as these guys are doing a great job there. You see caution again. So who we got this time? 55, Jesse James.
Jesse James, who initially got the free pass there and into 12th place on the restart. But there was some... Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Daly, who was coming through the field there pretty quickly, has just turned him, really, straight in front of the 28, who was lucky, Christopher Hurd, to get away with that. Jay English as well. And in some ways, Jesse James is very lucky to get away without more damage than that.
Yeah, all those cars were on older tires. Jesse's actually were the oldest. His last pit stop was lap 40. But Daly came in on 43, her on 46, and English on 47. So they had a little bit of a tire advantage, and maybe just looked like that Jesse was just starting to struggle a little bit, and those guys were getting a little impatient behind him.
Look at that for a day, by the way, for Jesse James. Starts off not so well, back in the top 10, then back out of it, back in the top 10, and now back out of it again with that spin all the way down in 20. Oh!
Whoa!
Oh, hold on to it. He's definitely, well, I was about to say he's going to definitely take some tyres. I mean, I certainly would now. I mean, he's had two tyre screeching moments there as James in the Toyota, so surely he's got to come in here. So who is going to come in? Josh Parent's in first, Ryan Daly, Sean Lester also in, Cody Johnson as well as Jesse James, Cameron Saro, Zach Tyndall. All of those 24 are from the lead lap. Sorry, that's not 24. There's 24 on the lead lap as well, I should say. Those are the only ones to come in though, and those were already sort of towards the back, so they've really got nothing to lose in terms of taking tyres there, and there's plenty for them to take.
Yeah, and there's still a few cars out there that haven't stopped since the caution before the end of the stage. That's Sam Shermati, Joe Nordine, Her English, Austin Stamper, and Justin Martin. Justin Martin actually is out there on the oldest set of tires. His last pit was on lap 40. So there's still a few cars out there that are just trying to nurse these tires they've got on board a little bit longer to try and maybe get inside the fuel window here for the end of the race and come in. But that's a bold strategy. I think I would probably go ahead and come in. If I've got two sets of tires left, I'm taking one of them now, and I'll save the other ones for a little bit later. But I think most everybody should still have a couple of sets left.
Yep. I'm told at the start of the day 5 sets of tyre changes from Trey, which suggests 6 total, which is really quite a lot for this race. About a 22 lap stint on each tyres if you were to average it out. So yeah, lots of tyres for them to take, making it even more puzzling why the guys just led themselves into a complete alleyway there in the first stage there, and all but 12 of them had the complete wrong idea about those first 3 cautions. But I won't stop talking about it. I cannot get my head around how such top drivers got that so wrong. I cannot get my head around it. But anyway, you should picture the moment, because I'm not sure we're going to see that again from these top guys. They absolutely led themselves into a corner there, completely of their own making, and thankfully they managed to get themselves out of it. But they were really in a corner for a moment there. Were some of the top names. I mean, they're starting to pop themselves into the top 10 again now. You can see Joe Nordine just popping his head into the top 10 now, in 10th. And we're restarting alongside Daniel Nogue at the beginning of this restart as we get into the DesertDiecast.com restart zone. And this time it's Nathan Merrifield who's going to be getting us to the green for the 5th restart of the night. Merrifield's second go at this in the number 1. Pace car pulls into the restart zone now, and we are back underway with 60 laps to go.
Yeah, good jump by Merrifield there. Gets out in front and is going to have his pick of lanes as we get down into turn 1. See a little 3 wide action there in the back. Get that straightened out pretty quick there as he got a car on the bottom of the track. That is Daly, I believe, in the 02. Is absolutely in a hurry. He's already picked up a few spots since the restart, running that low line. As you see the 21 to 78 down on the bottom as well. But 02 is all out. Look at that, just way down on the bottom and just cutting through here with those fresh tires. And I see Parent actually coming up behind him trying to follow him down, but don't know that Parent came in as well, so he should have fresh tires. But he's just patiently kind of working his way through. As we see the 78 running up high there. Saw a car maybe brushing the wall, saw some dust flying. But now you see the 78 and 75 down at the bottom, maybe trying to slow the ascent there of Parent, working his way back up through the field.
It's going to be difficult now for Parent. They're pretty much 2 by 2 or going to be 2 by 2. They're 3 wide just in front of him through the quad oval there as well. Goodness me, they are aggressive. Ryan Daly, that is, who's really leading the charge there in the O2. He's only got 13 lap pressure tyres than most of them and 15 fresher than some others. But that's the sort of difference that it makes. That's why taking the tyres so frequently is so crucial. The 43 is now down on the apron and he's going to come straight back onto the racetrack. Oh, and with the tyre grip that he has, just about stays on. That's quite remarkable. We stay green coming out of 4 again. 3 wide coming through the quad oval again. It's a very lively restart all over again here.
Yeah, it is. As these mismatched tires are just doing making the race exciting as we see cars just cutting through the field from the back toward the front. A nice battle there as the O2 has worked his way up even further, just getting past the 60 of Dingman. That's going to put him up around P3, and I'm looking now at the O2. I think the O2, as I'm looking, I think the O2 is a lap down.
No. He's just taking the lead. He's just taking the lead.
Oh, there he is. Okay, all right. I just missed him on my timing and scoring there for minutes. He's because I was looking at P3, P4, and he wasn't there, and so I was like, okay, what's going on? Because he's in P1. That's why. So he's already out, and look at that gap he's already created. It's almost 3/4 of a second through the couple of corners that they've ahead, and he's going to check out here. Parents looking to come with him, but he's giving him quite the head start.
Yeah, Parent is going to be there very soon. It is going to be about a 1 second head start here for Daly. Just in front of Josh Parent, who now has got clear of the one of Nathan Merrifield. And look at this behind. This is the mid-pack where some of those are still coming through. That was a little look from the 43 again, this time on Miller in the 18. 3 wide as they slide up high. Don't forget, this is only 13 to 15 laps of fresher tyres. These tyres can run, or these cars with a full fuel run, can run 40-odd laps. This is absolutely dramatic considering the little amount of tyres comparatively. There's contact on the outside. That was Leicester sliding up in front of Dingman for 4th position, and that therefore is effectively sorry, that wasn't Leicester and Dingman, that was the 86, sorry. Cunningham getting slid up by Merrifield there for 7th place. Leicester's just overtaken Merrifield to be in 3rd place. He's chasing Daly and Parent at the front on new tyres, is Sean Leicester.
Yeah, he's having himself quite the day, up 18 positions. So, as we said, we talked about him in qualifying. He started a little late, only got 1 lap in, and kind of put him a little further back in the field than obviously his pace shows. But he has done a great job of working his way up through the field, taking what he can get and making the most of it, but having himself quite the good run. But now he's got to track down 2 very, very fast cars in the form of Parent and Daly.
Well, this field is going to get very, very stretched here at this stage, and there's going to be a lot of them hoping for a caution here. You'd think that means there is going to be one that arrives between now and the finish in the Action Roofing Cup Series here from Atlanta Motor Speedway tonight. This is the Southern Showdown 200 miles here tonight. Longer races this season in the Gen 6 Series, and so far they've been absolutely fantastic. Last week at Daytona, knocked out by Josh Parent in the first of our green-white checkered finishes of the season. And this time out, first intermediate of the season at Atlanta. The old version of Atlanta with all the bumps in the road. Top 4 are all on those new tyres with Zach Tyndall. The next in line, Jesse James, who's looking to come through the field here. He's in the 55, now 7th.
Yeah, Jesse James is one of those cars that came in. He's now up to P7. There's a couple more further back. Cody Johnson and Cameron Sorrow running 15th and 16th. Also came in on lap 68 and have taken their time working their way up through the field. So maybe they're trying to save a little bit here to maybe save their tires for a little bit longer instead of just making the charge. They're trying to be a little more methodical about it. And so we'll see how they're going to get along here as the James now up into P5. Tyndall up there. So now off the top 5 are all cars that pitted on lap 68.
Yep. Next in line to do that is way back though in 14th. Now 14th. Cody Johnson's just been overtaken while trying to retake some of these positions. We're very close, though, to being able to stop and make it to the end in terms of fuel. Whether you want to in terms of tyres is a different story, but when most of the guys who are on old tyres right now pitted, there was about 80 laps to go, or to be specific, 77 laps to go or less, and therefore that's about 2 stints of 40. Maybe we're closer to the first green flag stops of the night than we think, and that could be an interesting moment because first of all, would they get trapped by a caution, or rather is there going to be a caution that's going to trap them? And second of all, what do the front 5 do? Do they react straight away knowing how big the undercut is, or are they going to wait just that little bit longer so that they can get sort of an overcut with fresher tyres to the end of the race? They've got a real decision to make when/if there's some green flag stops here in the next 10 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of looking at the timing and scoring again. That top 5, 31.72, I believe, was Parent's last lap previous to this, which is, a second plus off. The cars behind that are on somewhere around lap 53 to 55 are running 32.6, so they've got about a half a second to 7/10 of a second advantage on those cars of just 15 laps older tires, and that just shows you how fast these cars, how fast these tires fade, and how much you have to really manage your tire wear here on a track like Atlanta.
You do have to keep a real eye on it. Look at this over the line. This is absolutely remarkable. And this is by no means for the lead. It's sort of the lead of the guys on old tyres at the moment. Caleb Hunt is on slightly fresher tyres than some of them here, but not really. There's some obviously fresh tyre runners. Cameron Sarah, Cody Johnson involved in this. But when they're running side by side like that in front of you, it's very difficult to get past.
It is indeed. Yeah, it's hard to find your way around. They, probably could have done that a little bit earlier. As we see Parent now moving to the bottom, he's going to retake the lead here as we've got 45 laps to go. So lap 85 of the race, Parent is going to resume the P1 position as Daly slots back into second. But those two guys have kind of got themselves a gap, 2 seconds plus back to P3 of Tyndall.
Oh, big crash in towards turn 3. Cunningham turns hard left there, straight into who is that on the outside there?
Cody Johnson in the 11, I believe.
It is Cody Johnson, you're absolutely right, in the 11, and he's going to come to a stop almost. No, he's just waiting. That's very good driving. Cunningham was almost expecting there to be a caution because, and there is.
There it is.
He just turned straight into him there.
That is. Oh yeah, I don't know if that maybe he maybe applied. I don't know. Maybe he was braking for the corner. And maybe just hit it a little too much there, or it doesn't look like he came off it doesn't look like he hit the wall is what I'm seeing. So yeah, that's a little bit of odd behavior there out of the 86, but definitely shot the 11 up into the wall, and the 11 now with some serious damage. I see the damage there on the 86 car on the left front, but now the 11 is going to have. I don't know. Once again, maybe he was just maybe just didn't realize that he was down there. Maybe he thought he was clear and was just going to try to drop to the bottom, but not clear, and 11 into the wall, unfortunately for Cody Johnson.
Yep, so pit stops are going to happen in this 6th caution of the day. Now, how many are going to come in? Josh Parent is going to lead them in. So let's see these pit stops here. Daly is also, they're all following in so far. I'll tell you, if anybody stays out, that will be much easier here. Let's see. Nobody so far staying out. Don't forget there are still 21 on the lead lap rather, who are all coming in so far. We'll try and see these stops in a second. Cunningham's carrying on. He's going to get the lead as it stands at the moment here, as he's the only one to stay out. But let's see who wins the race off pit lane here. First of all, as they all come to a stop, it is Samati, of course, getting to the end of pit lane here. Who will be out first, though? Joshua Parent's out, therefore second. Then it will be Ryan Daly. Zach Tyndall will be next, followed by Sean Lester, Jesse James, Caleb Hunt, Nathan Merrifield, Mark Dingman, and then Cameron Sarro will complete your top 10. You're watching the Southern Showdown 200 here on Motormouth Broadcasting, part of the Action Roofing Cup Series. The 6th restart of the night coming up after this.
Tired of leaks that won't quit? Call Action Roofing, proudly serving Regina, Saskatchewan and surrounding area for over 40 years. Family owned and operated since 1980, Action Roofing has been providing businesses and homeowners with a quality roof that will stand the test of time against all nature can throw at it. The professionals at Action Roofing know that a job well done is a job done right the first time. No corners are cut, no steps are skipped, from setup till tear down. Exceptional workmanship is a guarantee, and no mess is ever left behind. Action Roofing has a product for any problem, including asphalt, built-up roof systems, EPDM, and torch-applied SBS. Whatever the circumstances, Action Roofing has the experts to give you a roof that will suit your needs. So call Action Roofing, the flat roofing specialists, at 306-545-4677 because the weather should stay outdoors.
Thanks to Action Roofing for coming on board as the title sponsor of the Action Roofing Cup Series here at I2I Motorsports this season. The Gen 6 Series, running a Gen 6 Series for the very first time as Steve Cunningham takes on some long repairs there in the 86. That's the reason he and the 11 Cody Johnson's crash coming towards turn 3. The reason for this 6th caution of the night. At the end of it, there'll be 40 laps to go, and with everybody on the lead lap having stopped there, they can all make it to the end. So if there's no more cautions, then we will go to the end of this race as we get into the DesertDiecast.com restart zone. Is this the last restart of the night? Well, it's certainly another one for Josh Parent, his 4th restart as we get back under green in Atlanta.
Yeah, here we go as we're winding back up. Parent with a good jump out of the gate. As Daly slots in a second, you see still a battle there between Tyndall and Lester for P3 as Lester running that high line. He's trying to see if he can get a run out of the corner. Side by side, 3 wide now. Oh, car in the middle, wiggles. Hang on to it. Great bit of driving there by that 43 car just to hang on to that as he slides back a little bit further. But, man, that would have been bad with those 3 cars wide. And that would have been a lot of cars off as we see a car off. It's Jesse James down on the bottom.
It's James Tate who's straight through the grass there in the 88. And he's going to get away with it. He just about hangs on to it. But he does go to the very back. He's on the tail end of the lead lap, by the way. He's in 20th place. Cunningham's stop has taken him off the lead lap. He's fighting for the free pass with Dylan Jackson, Cody Johnson, and Justin Martin, who are still in this race. Trevor Thomas is 2 laps down. And so far, the retirements: Jason Reeves, Trey Grover, John Russo, Caleb Ross at the moment in this race. 38 to go as we go back green. Feels very similar to the start of the race again, doesn't it? Parent leading the field, and it's getting single file a little bit for the front.
Yeah, I think they realized from that first one that battling here this early in the stint is not going to help the tires out at the end. So maybe they're taking it a little bit easier here as you see the 43 of Tyndall and the 31 still fighting side by side. And you see the 41 gets into the corner better, but then the 31 just gets a much better run out as you see now Daly just in front of that's a car. Is that Steve Cunningham there is in the middle there. He's a lap down, so he's kind of going to have to do something. I think he might have to just kind of drop down or just kind of get out of the way because otherwise we're going to be it's going to be, I think, maybe a bad situation. So maybe discretion, the better part of valor here is maybe he wants to just kind of drop down and let these cars go, kind of slot to the back and see if he can hang on for that lucky dog coming up.
Problem is he probably won't do that because he's only in that free pass position because he's up here and keeping the others behind him by staying up here. That was close for third. Sean Lester there making contact with Caleb Hunt, the previous race winner. They're very close between the two, and they're looking to the inside of him is Joe Nordine in the 75, looking at the 78 into turn 3. Can't quite get it done. Cunningham and Daly still side by side as well. There is all of a sudden quite a lot happening here in the first 5 laps of this restart for the front group and not just those further down.
Yeah, it is a little busy up here as this is still trying to battle and get what they can get here early before they have to settle in because obviously 35 laps to go. They're not, I don't think, going to be able to race this hard for the remaining laps. You're going to have to maybe just give up a little bit here early to maybe hang on to something late. As we see the 75 move up to the top line there looking to the outside of Hunt now, see if he can make his run on the outside and work his way through.
Look at this, it's side by side right the way down here. This is basically the top 10 with a few added extras in here at the moment. Down the back straight where there's been so much trouble so far tonight with people bouncing off the wall there. Cunningham down the inside of Joe Nordine here, who's in 5th place. He's, as I say, trying to keep in that free pass position. I'm not sure where the 30 is, but Dylan Jackson on my time screen at the moment is nearly 3 seconds behind Steve Cunningham. So, he can back out of this. That was contact there, though, into turn 1. And more contact as one of them goes up into the wall, bounces straight back down again, right into the middle of the pack, sliding the 78 of Hunt. Now Nordine into Hunt on the outside. Somehow they get away with it.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe Nordine's got damage or not, but obviously him and Cunningham made contact a couple of times. You see it right there through the corner. And, it's he did a great job working his way back, just trying to keep it out of everybody else's way as he just kind of went back through the middle and allowed everybody to get through. Finally slid down to the bottom to kind of maybe gather his thoughts there for a minute. And but he's lost so many positions now, and that's just tough break. We know how quick Nordine is in that 75, and for him to drop down all the way down to P19, so he's at the back of this field.
He's got a meatball flag apparently because of that contact with Cunningham, and Nordine will be livid about that. Absolutely livid, because there's a lap car involved. It has a right to be there to an extent, but nobody has a right to sort of just wreck somebody like that, which is in effect is what happened here. And Nordine, because of the no fast repairs anymore, because that's a meatball, that's going to be a minutes long repair and surely the end of his night. He'll be absolutely livid.
Yeah, he will not be happy about that. He is going to spend some time in the pits, and he is, wow, okay. Did we have a fast repair? Because I'm looking now, and his meatball is cleared, and he is back out on the racetrack.
That is unbelievable.
Yep, there is one fast repair. Just check the event rules. So there is. I thought that was a one-time thing, but apparently they decided they were going to keep one more in there for tonight, and so. That's a blessing for Nordine. So he'll just now hope to get another caution and get back out on the lead lap and then do some more racing.
I didn't even bother to look because I thought that that was not a thing this season.
Yeah, I didn't either until just now.
There we go. Some of these guys have been acting like there isn't a fast repair as well in the way that they've been repairing stuff, which is a bit weird. But anyway, when they're watching this back, they'll be screaming at us for the first 100 laps in that case. But anyway, what's the difference? Again, as we run up ball with the back straight, still these guys haven't quite worked out where the wall is down there. There's so many things about tonight that I'm struggling to comprehend, which is making me seem thicker by the lap at the moment. But why are they continually crashing into the back straight wall there? I know it's not dead straight, but I mean, surely they could have figured it out by now. And obviously the pit strategy early was baffling to me, and obviously the fast repairs has come as a surprise to us. There's a lot of things baffling me about this race at the moment.
Yeah, and you see Jay English there was up against the wall coming into the corner, and it looks like he was just struggling there on entry. The car just kind of was squirming around up underneath him, and did a good job to keep it from a much more powerful hit there. As we see now the 78 down on the bottom of the track, looking to the inside of Cerro there in the 29. Is going to try and make that move around. You see Austin Stamper back here. Haven't mentioned his name very much. But he's been it's been kind of quiet. But he's up 2 positions from start and having himself a pretty good night. It's just outside the top 10, running in 13th. You see the 82 in the wall, and once again has to get that car collected. You just kind of see these cars are really already starting to struggle here, and we just came to the pits just a few laps ago, and they're already starting to fight these cars.
Well, exactly. I think if there's another caution and everybody's got a set of tyres, I think most people do. In fact, I think everyone has at least one set. So I think a lot of them will be tempted to come in, although it might not be the same sort of absolutely everybody coming in like what we saw last time round under a caution. But are we going to get another one? It feels like we're going to do well to survive the next 25 laps without one, to be honest, and that's just from the battling that we've watched at the front of the field, never mind what's going on further down. It feels like a race that is not quite done yet with these cautions.
I would have to agree with that. And Parent, as good as he has been, over the last season and this season, hasn't really. He's got 0.6 of a second over Daly, so hasn't really checked out. So maybe just kind of monitoring his tire wear there, trying to hang on to him for as long as he can in hopes that with the hopes that maybe this goes green the rest of the way, but hasn't really got much of a big run and pulled away. So Daly's still sitting there in second with Lester third, Merrifield in fourth. So it is still anybody's race. You see there still basically 8 cars within 3 seconds of the lead. And it won't take much, but nothing more than a wiggle there coming out of the corner to change the landscape here.
Off of turn 4 again. One of the big contenders for the points last season, Zach Tyndall looking for fourth for Merrifield. And behind here Jay English running out the top 6. The front group still is containing the top 17 right now. You could argue the front 3 are getting away based on the camera shot, but look at this all the way down. It is still fighting, and don't forget, still, it's not only lead lap drivers, it's also those who are a lap down at the moment. Steve Cunningham is that first one, and there's the trouble. It involves Cunningham, and so he's not going to get the free pass, and there's all sorts of trouble off before. It's still happening. It's still going on back there. There's a lot of cars really damaged back there, and Nogue's involved again. Cunningham's hit somebody else. I mean, he's hit a lot of guys out there now in this most recent time. There he is, running someone basically into the wall up there, and everything else follows.
Yeah, that's Jesse James on the outside. Contact made there in the corner. James tried to catch it and manages to do so, but not done yet. They're still side by side coming out into the next corner, and you just see the cars, and the 20, that's the 55 just runs high. That's 86 goes with them. Both cars just ran up the track, and you see Nogue there with the rear end job there on the 86. You see a couple cars at the top. Maybe that's the 15 that's got involved as well. But yeah, just another wreck that is pulled out a lot of the drivers toward the front. And here we go, caution, and looks like everybody's coming in. We've got several cars in there with beat balls, James Sorrow and Austin Stamper.
Yeah, everybody's in so far. I'm afraid to say Steve Cunningham has taken out 6 cars in the last 10 laps or so, if you include Joe Nordine from earlier, who he ran into as well. Yeah,
and I just looked. Nordine also has a meatball, and he just took his fast repair.
Yeah.
So it might be race done for sure this time.
I mean, that's just stupid. Anyway, Noga's stayed out, and he will take the lead. He was one of those taken out by Cunningham. 2 tyres from Sam Stramati, the only one to do it. And I'm not sure, if I'm honest, it's going to work, but I'm glad someone's trying. Sam Stramati is going to do it will be less than 20 laps to go, by the way, when we go back green. But nevertheless, that's a good 10 minutes of racing. And I'm not sure it's going to work, but nevertheless, he's given it a go, and I like that. Daniel Nogue also giving it a go by staying out totally in the 63.
Yeah, I think maybe Nogue comes in here before this is done, but he may stay out. But obviously, he is a sitting duck up there with one car on his outside that's going to have 2 tires. Everybody behind him is going to have 4. And this, once again, this is another one of those situations where, if you're a driver, hopefully you've got a spotter. A human spotter, not crew chief, that's telling you, hey, the guy that's out front is on the same tires. He did not pit. You got to be careful with him when you go through, because obviously one wheel spin here on the restart, and we've got half the field junked before we get back to the start finish line.
Now who's that, and what are they doing? Trevor Thomas is 4 laps down. He's just going to the back. It looked like he was just trying to restart 3 wide at the front there, which would have been really weird. But no, he's going to the back. Steve Cunningham still in the pit lane here, and Justin Martin coming out after long damage. Joe Nordine's in there still after long damage. That's the 2 casualties from that caution there. I don't think, therefore, anybody else has gone to lead that. Dylan Jackson got the free pass instead. It went down to him instead, so he's the one there. And Cody Johnson is now alone fighting for the free pass, just hoping for another caution, which may well come in the next 19 laps here as Daniel No gets us back underway in a moment. He'll be into the DesertDiecast.com restart zone in just a moment. He's got a little bit of front right damage from the contact earlier on, and maybe even that most recent contact with Cunningham, who he smashed into. He's restarting here, though, on old tyres in front of the rest, with Sam Stramati on just 2 tyres in front and a pack of 4 tyre runners right behind. Parent waits to go past the start finish line before he dives to the inside. Noga's in the middle, and he doesn't know where to go. A spin immediately, and there's going to be a lot of drivers caught up in this one.
Yeah, Lester. And you saw Nogue just did not get off the line, maybe spun the wheels, but you see the outside line stacking up, and Nogue just couldn't get going and moves up. Parent moves down low, 31 moves low, but doesn't get clear as the one on the outside of Merrifield and Nogue get together, comes down the track, brings the 31 into it as well. So just the worst case scenario there, unfortunately, when you got one car with a gamble, just trying to stay out, and it just did not work in his favor this time.
Well, Sramachi's still leading, so he's gotten away with it, and you could argue that anybody who's sort of still running without damage there has gotten away with that first restart there. But I think this is one of the reasonings for Sramachi taking 2 tyres there. This could be a very caution-heavy run to the end, because we were going to have 19 laps to go in a run to the end there. Now we've only got 15 when we go back in the next green flag. So suddenly, just one caution and quite a good percentage of the remaining race gets knocked off there. That's, more than 20% of the remaining race just been knocked off by this caution. So it looks like a long way to go until you see the cautions coming in, which is maybe what Sramachi's been planning for here. And, well, he's got one of them, and he's 4 laps closer to the finish without obviously anybody being able to overtake him while the caution's out.
Yeah, absolutely. As I do see that Dingman was, I think, involved in that as well. He's got a meatball. He's coming out of the pits, as well as the one of Nathan Merrifield, both coming down to get some work done on their cars. And if they've got tires left, those are going on there as well. And we'll see if they can make anything happen here with only it's going to be 15 or so laps left when we get ready to go back, as we see the waiver on car come through. And I think it's Dylan Jackson that's going to come through and get back on the lead lap. So that'll give us 20, I believe, as we sit here under caution for a couple more laps. And once again, now you've got Stramati on the inside of the front row. He's kind of in the same position as Nogue was earlier. He's only on 2 tires, everybody else on 4. They did not really get a chance to get a lot of heat in those tires, so it's going to be how well is he going to be able to get off the line here, and see if it's going to stack anybody up. But it's going to be another little tricky situation here when we get ready to go back green.
It was going to be 21 on the lead lap, but Mark Dingman, by the way, has pulled the plug after 113 laps tonight, so he's out of the race, sadly. So the closest guy now, laps down, Justin Moyne, is 2 laps down. He'll be fighting with Joe Nordine for that, and whoever gets the free pass first time around will obviously get it second time, and they'll be the only one who is just 1 lap down. But they do need 2 cautions in the remaining 15 laps, which does seem like a lot to ask for. We seem to now be going back to double file restarts no matter what now at this later stage in the race, and that's to be expected as well. Of course, big thanks again to DesertDiecast.com for sponsoring the restart zone for this season. We'll be getting into it for the 8th time here tonight in just a moment, with 15 laps to go in the Southern Showdown 200. Sam Stramati's on 2 tyres, do not forget. Daniel Nogue, by the way, is on old tyres still. He's still here. He's on row 3 there. There you can see the difference. Stramati did take 2. I know it says fuel only. He did take 2. But that's not going to make much of a difference, whether it's 2 or not. It's not going to be anything to be fighting against 4 that Ryan Daly has on the outside, or Josh Parent, who's going to be ducking below him in just a moment as well. Here we go for the 8th restart of the night. This time Stramati, who gets a bit of a jump, but how long is this going to last out front for him?
Yeah, good start by Stramati that time. He was able to get the car rolling really well. Daly goes with him. Parent is down low looking, and Daly is going to take advantage of this as quickly as he can. He's going to move down below to the bottom and make that pass for the lead. as gets a good run out of the corner there. The tire advantage for the 02 and the 22. Basically everybody behind Shermati. So it's going to be kind of a little bit of a freight train here for a few laps as Shermati just kind of running that high line as everybody just tries to go low for as long as they're able to here. And it's just going to be a very quick set of laps here to the end, and hopefully we'll go green the rest of the way. This will make this a pretty exciting little finish here with Parent now in the lead.
Parent battling Daly for the lead here. He's got his nose in front briefly. Shermati no match with those older tyres. Daly goes up to try and block Parent. They both go up the racetrack. Here comes Sean Lester from third.
Yeah, that was close as Daly, I think, wanted to slide up and did realize that he was not clear and kept it down on the bottom and saved both those cars. Ooh, as we see a little wiggle there from the 78 of Hunt coming out of the corner and had to do a little counter steer there to keep that car under control, and is got that back righted. He slides up into P4 right behind Lester.
Wow, Lester had a big chance there, maybe the best chance he'll get, because Parent and Daly went super deep in towards 4 a couple of laps ago there. That maybe allowed somebody to come up there. Obviously it would have been a 3-wide bone through the pod over, would have made it very tricky. Shermati, they're going to be almost run over here by the guys who are trying to come past him at the moment. Tyndall is directly in behind him. Merrifield was alongside very, very briefly in towards turn 3 there. There goes Hunt down the inside of Sean Lester for third position, coming to 11 to go.
Yeah, having himself a good run here, coming through the quad oval and down the end of turn 1, and he's going to get a good run into the corner, and I think Lester's going to come back out of the corner, and that's how that's going, but still side by side down the back stretch as see another car. Yeah, again, I think that was Daly that maybe brushed the wall a little bit there on the back stretch.
It's happened time and again in towards turn 3 tonight. As again they get stuck behind Shermati, who's still hanging on to the top 5, and so still a good return for him, although he's obviously down and he's going to be compared to where he qualified, which is of course on the pole here tonight. There's a look down the inside from Christopher Herr, who we've not seen for quite some time, fighting for 8th, almost going into the side of Merrifield coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, the car just wouldn't stick on the bottom and just rode up the track. Made a little bit of contact. Both cars still continuing on. He did. The 82 hangs out. The 71 off the track down on the bottom.
Whoa.
You see the spin there. Contact with the 75 of Nordine. So did we get a caution flag?
That was the fight for the free pass, by the way, and it didn't seem that we got a caution. No, we didn't get one
either. No, still going.
Wow.
So 9 to go.
Yep, and somebody very slow on the back straight now. I think that's Daniel Nogue, who is running slowly. He definitely hoping for a caution, but he's not going to get one now. Well, he might do soon, but not for the previous caution that we've seen. Look at the pack that we're seeing here. This is just remarkable. Here comes Lester now, past Daly. Has Ryan Daly gone too hard too soon? He's going backwards here. Hunt and Lester both past him as they all try and give chase to Joshua Parent.
Yeah, Austin Stamper up now in the top 10 is continuing his march forward up 6 positions. And I did go look. Daniel Nogue, the reason he was down there low because he was involved in it as well. Meatball for Nogue, for Nordine, for Justin Martin.
So that'll be the end of their day. As the field dips below 20 just at the end. Oh, big smash up! Big crash into turn 2. We're going to get a late dash to the end here. Christopher Herr's been in the wall really hard there. Jay English as well. Zach Tyndall involved. That is a hard crash into turn 1.
Yeah, let's get a look at this. You see Daly up high and just the 24 just runs up the track. Daly comes off the wall and slides down, and the 24 is still there. And so I think it was 24 initiating the contact. You see the front suspension damage. So I don't, not much that the car on the outside there could have done, but that is there was other cars involved in that as well. Tyler Miller, is that right? Or is that Christopher Herr with a meatball? Jake Miller with a meatball, Jay English with a meatball. So at least 3 cars with severe damage.
Absolutely. A big, big crash. Now, a big decision to make here for these guys. I think there'll be 3 laps to go of the race when we go back green here. Now, who is going to stop and who is going to stay out? There's still at least sort of 16, 17 cars who are undamaged and competing here for the win. Daly is the first taker in 5th. Who's going to follow him? Christopher Herr had to come in. He's got pretty bad damage. Who else is going to come in here? It looks like Jesse James, Tyler Miller, Jake Miller, Cody Johnson, all into the pit lane here. Dylan Jackson and Zach Tyndall, though some of those will be for damage. The top 10 have stayed out, and that, for anybody who's decided to take tyres there for a strategy, that leaves them quite a lot of places to make in just 3 laps. There might even be 2 laps as we go back, Green.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask trying to get the tires up to temp in time to set sail down into turn 1 here on this restart. But if we're going back double file again, you're only talking about 5 cars deep if you are coming in here. So Daly has got 5 cars basically in front of him to work his way through. Technically it's 10, but he'll be a rocket here for the last 2 laps. Now, I just don't know if there's enough time to get to the lead or not. But I think he's going to end up probably better than where he was when he came down the pit road.
I think it will be 3 to go. And indeed, this is not a green white checkered attempt. Any caution after this latest one would be, if indeed there is any, before the white flag waves. And we get 1 to go on our race here tonight. Parent in front of Leicester, Hunt, Merrifield going to be the front 2 rows. The fact that Daly's not there is a big positive for everybody, I think, because he was pretty quick, especially on a short run. He's not there anymore, but Leicester on the outside will certainly be there to challenge Josh Parent and stop him, by the way, from getting a second race win in just the first 2 races of this season. He's had a great start to this season, Josh Parent, and no matter how this goes, almost, unless he crashes, it's going to be a good race for him, but everybody trying to prevent him from going 2 in a row here.
Yep, absolutely. As Daly now settles in there in 11th, so 6 car in line on the bottom, and that's going to be beneficial for him. He'll just be able to run that car around the bottom for the last 3 laps of this race here, and just see where he ends up. So won't have to worry about maybe working his way down. So we're going to find out what he's able to do here, and who's actually going to end up winning this race. Lester's had a good run tonight, so not sure he's got enough pace to keep up with Parent, but we're about to find out.
Into the Desert Diecast restart zone for potentially the final time. Although I said that last time. Josh Parent this time once again restarting from the front, as he's done on so many occasions here, as he did indeed for the very start of this race in the Southern Showdown 200 tonight. 3 to go here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and Parent gets a jump on the restart.
Yeah, good jump as the top 3 pull away. And now we're going to start looking. There's the 0-2 coming down. Already got through 1. Already got past Sorrow. Oh. That's 2 spots. And you see the 88 down low there as Daly is now working his way up toward the front and has already got a couple positions cleared and is looking for more here coming down to the turn 3.
Pretty much the first time Austin Stamp has been in the top 5 all day, running in 4th place in the 8 car at the moment. Incredible job as some of these newer tyre runners start coming here. Alpha 4, there's contact. Schmarty goes around this time. Big hit in the wall. Schmarty up on his side. Very nearly went up and over. The 82 went into the wall incredibly hard as well. Braxton Merrifield, we're under caution and we're into green-white checkered for the 2nd week in a row.
Yeah, as we see the 48 slide up the track into the Merrifield brothers, the 1 and the 82 on the outside, as Daly just sneaks through down on the bottom and gets through there. He's up to P6 with this. Now it's going to equalize a little bit more, but the 82 is just junk up there. As don't think there was contact. It didn't look like it. I don't know, maybe net code. That's kind of what, if anything, is what it would have showed up as. But you saw the 48 just could not hang on the bottom and slid up the track and took out both Braxton and Nathan in one fell swoop.
I mean, for some of those guys arriving on the scene, they did not stand a chance there of avoiding what was happening in front of them. That could even reduce it, unless Logan Hooker can stay on the lead lap, could even reduce it to just 12 or 13 on the lead lap here. Look at this, no chance. Sam Stramati was flying through the air. That could have been a life-threatening crash if it was real life. Thank goodness it isn't.
Yeah.
That was very scary. The 11 slides through the the pit lane, and there's the pace car unsurprisingly summoned for that incident there. So the race distance is complete, 130 laps complete here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway, but we go on into overtime, or green white checkered attempts as we're calling it here. 10th caution of the night. Now, I was impressed with the way that the likes of Ryan Daly, Tyler Miller were able to make their way through in terms of traffic there. I wonder whether they, now that Daly will be starting from row 3, I wonder whether he's actually got time here in 2 laps to actually get through, because I wouldn't have said so before, but now I've seen that restart, maybe he does have time.
I think maybe he does have time. I think this is, I think now we're at a point that both him and Miller have got enough time and are close enough to the front that they may make an actual run here for the race win. And if so, great strategy call by these guys to take the chance to give up the track position there late to come in and get fresh tires. And it's paying dividends thus far as we see, the 78 car up the track. I'm not sure what was going on there. Maybe it was changing the channel or something. But either way, managed to get it brought back down. So we'll be getting ready to go back to green flag here in our first attempt at a green white checker.
Yeah, indeed. We needed, was it 2 attempts last week? I think it was. Was it just the one? I thought it was 2 green white checker attempts last week at Daytona.
I think that's right.
Yeah, we only previously used to have 1, so that was an I2I first. See whether we get an I2I second about 7 days later here at Atlanta tonight. But back-to-back green white checkered races to start the season in the Action Roofing Cup Series tonight. The Gen 6 Series at I2I Motorsports. It is on the lead lap. 14 drivers in the end, actually. Jay English getting a free pass back onto the lead lap. Dylan Jackson, Sam Stramati currently 1 lap down, hoping there is 1 more caution yet in this race. There's plenty of other drivers who are multiple laps down, just running around for points back there. As far as the lead lap drivers are concerned, it is the top 14. So first 6.5 rows, plus Jay English, who's obviously had to restart right at the back since he got the free pass there. We'll move on up now into where he's supposed to be as we end the 10th caution of the night through the DesertDiecast.com restart zone. Josh Parent again in control of when we get going in that 22. As he comes off a 4, the pace truck will pull in. Can he do enough to hold back those newer tyre runners as well as those who are on tyres his own age? Through turn 4, back to the restart zone. 2 laps for Josh Parent to hold on to a second win of the season.
Yep, good start. Get Lester going with him. Daly on the outside this time is going to be side by side with, I believe, Merrifield down low, and so he's got to get this horse wound up pretty quick as he is still hanging on the outside. They basically kind of boxed in up there, not really able to do anything. Finally gets to the bottom, and so now we're going to see him work up a couple more cars, but he's only going to have 1 lap left here to get to the front, but he's making up the time in bunches.
Yeah, 1 to go, sponsored by Epix Graphics, and Ryan Daly is moving left and right into turn 1. He's into 3rd, into 2nd. He's alongside Caleb Hunt. What can Josh Parent do to stop him? He's in the wall, Parent, and Daly gets into the side of Hunt. Here comes Sean Lester, trying to take them both. He gets to the outside in the 31. Now, does Daly have enough grip through 3 and 4? He's going to have to move the 78 out the way and hope that Parent missteps. Josh Parent doesn't make a mistake, and he holds on for victory. 2 in 2 for Josh Parent to start the Action Roofing Cup Series, this time at Atlanta Motor Speedway. He holds on, and 1 more lap, the result would have been different. Ryan Daly just 3 attempts from pulling off something extraordinary there.
Yeah, I think 1 more corner and that would have been different. Daly just got bogged down on the high line there at the start of the green-white checker. Had he been able on the bottom, or could have got to the bottom a little bit quicker, I think this would have been a different story. But another great run by Josh Parent, another great win, but some really good strategy there by both Ryan Daly and Tyler Miller to get up to P4 there with the late race call as well. Caleb Hunt did a great job, up 16 positions to finish 3rd. So some new guys up on the podium this week, and some of our guys that we were kind of expecting to be strong here tonight I feel so bad for Daniel Nogue. He was just in a war tonight, and a lot of it not of his own making. It was as if he was Switzerland out there tonight and just got involved in everything. Then he was trying to just say, "Hey guys, can we just get along?"
That's an analogy I wasn't expecting to hear tonight. That's what happens after more than 2 hours. Josh Parrott takes the victory. He does deserve it. 78 laps led in the end, although a lot of those sort of at the start and at the end, not so much through the middle. Ryan Daly just needed maybe one more corner. Maybe you're right, just one more corner. Caleb Hunt in the end was shoved back to third. Tyler Miller, Jesse James and Sean Lester were all within a second of the win there on that restart, by the way. Austin Stamper, Zach Tyndall, James Tate and Christopher Hurt round out the top 10. Logan Uka was also on the lead lap there alongside Cameron Sarah, Jay Inglis, Nathan Merrifield. Sam Stramati would have been hoping for one more caution there because he was 1 lap down. Dylan Jackson 2 laps down. 3 laps down for Trevor Thomas and Daniel Nogue. Braxton Merrifield and Cody Johnson rounding out the top 20. 21st for Jake Miller and Joe Nordine was 22nd. They had pretty late crashes in the end. Earlier retirements for Justin Martin, Mark Dingman, Steve Cunningham, Jason Reeves, Troy Graber, John Russo, Caleb Ross and Jason Trockey even, who did get out for 6 laps tonight, by the way, but technical problems sidelined him for too long, and so he retired early. Let's have a chat to Joshua Parent again, shall we? The race winner for the second week in a row, this time in Atlanta. Joshua, welcome in. Congratulations on hanging on there. Ryan Denny was coming quickly, though. Tell us about how often you were looking in the mirrors there at what was happening behind you and those new tyre runners, how quickly they were coming up on you at the end there.
I knew that someone was going to be on tires because there's just too many cautions at the end for someone to not chance it. But I just was thinking to myself, I just need to hit all my marks. And then randomly, my car got so tight through 1 and 2. And that's the first time I hit the wall. And Ryan was flying on the bottom. And I was like, oh no, this is how I lose it. And then he got super tight and pushed up into Caleb, and I just knew I had to make a good turn 3 and lock it down. We had a couple good long green flag runs, but this net code stuff is crazy, and the long run was that was easily where I gained the most time. I was running the Kyle Larson line, and I was able to make pace and try to keep the car up front. And it just was I think this shows this type of racing where they were good with this car and instead of that next gen. So other than that, it was very good racing with Joe, Ryan, Sean was up there. I feel bad, man. Sean deserves second, and just others like Zach Tyndall was up there. Caleb Hunt was up there through a good part of the day. And it was very, very fun racing, especially up front.
I want to chat to you about one of those long green flag runs that you referenced there, the one leading up to the stage break, because you had 3 opportunities under cautions to come in, you and about 20 others, by the way, not just you, but about 20 of you managed to sort of corner yourselves so that you ended up needing a green flag pit stop when lots of others didn't, and they could have trapped you a lap down under the stage caution, but elected not to in the end, and then about 20 of you got back onto the lead lap. Just what was that sort of stage of the race like that? Were you ever thinking at those early cautions that pitting was an option, or did you think you could get to the, what was going on?
So I was in the lead, and I was thinking to myself, track position was so key. I don't want to go to the back and get net coded and crashed or something crazy. And I was saving a ton of fuel. I was only 1 lap short when I pit. And if I didn't pit, I would have caught that yellow. And then I would have been fine. But the way that it had turned out, iRacing was all glitchy and messed up. But when the caution did come out, it was the right thing for the guys to get their laps back. We were ahead of the leader. So it made the most sense.
Only because they pitted, though, is what I mean. They didn't decide to. If they'd have stayed out, you would have been trapped, is what I mean. But
gotcha.
But they didn't, so you were fine in the end. Well, congratulations, Joshua, on second race victory in a second week, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Thanks. I want to shout out real quick. Shout out Lexi for watching all these races. She comments all the time. She tries to get people in here watching. Thanks, Sean. Sean's been one of my best friends for over 10 years now, and I'm really happy to see him running well and finishing well. And thank Cameron and Trey and everyone who got this beautiful, beautiful paint scheme done for me this week. I was very happy to get that a win, and thank everyone at Prophecies Racing for allowing me to be in here and try to showcase a bit of my talent. So, but thank you guys. You guys have a good night.
Thanks very much, Josh Parent, the winner here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Second win of the season already, just in front of Ryan Daly, who very nearly got there in time. Ryan, welcome in. Congratulations on second place, but how does it feel to have got so close but yet so far in that final run to the end there?
Hey, thanks so much. Yeah, it was really close there, man. I got to congratulate Josh on the win. He was tough to race the whole time, but yeah, I didn't think I was gonna be able to be up there, man, because I had a little bit of contact with another car earlier there and got into the wall pretty hard on the coming out of the dog leg, and but it was I couldn't believe I was right back up there. I guess it didn't damage the car as bad, but yeah, I went for it in turn one on the white flag lap, and I thought I was gonna be able to get the 78 and the 22, but I got way tight and fortunately kind of messed up the 78's run, so I wanted to apologize to him for that, but try my best to stay off of him and ended up being able to race him out for second. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. Couldn't believe I was back up there, but it was a really fun race the whole time. Long race of attrition.
Yeah, and one of the factors I think that I wasn't really thinking about before chatting to Joshua Parent was the element of track position in this. You managed to stay up front in those first three courses before you had to come in and pit under green. You managed to lead 13 laps tonight, and through the middle part of that race in the second stage you were right up towards the front. How much of track position was in your thinking when you were making decisions, especially on coming into pit lane and so on throughout these cautions tonight?
Yeah, I was definitely trying to stay up front as much as we could. There was a couple of opportunities to pit early in the race, but we all stayed out, all the leaders, and ended up coming back to bite me, though, because I should have pitted, stayed out, and then we kind of had our longest green run after that because I was kind of banking on a caution coming back out, but it didn't happen. And so ended up going a lap down, having to pit under green. We had kind of a weird scoring issue in the middle of the race. I was able to get back on the lead lap. All of us were, and then I just kind of cut through the field back there on some fresh tires, me and Josh, and that was really fun. But yeah, Josh was just a little bit better. He could save his tires a bit more, and I was just struggling with my right front, losing it there and getting really tight. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But track position definitely important tonight.
Well, congrats on getting second place tonight, Ryan. Thanks for chatting to us at the end, and congratulations again.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks so much. That's Ryan Daly, second place here tonight from Atlanta, and Caleb Hunt, who finishes in third place. Caleb, congratulations, up 16 places into third, more places gained than anybody else tonight, including most notably in sort of the 30th lap part of the race. We're just looking at your evolution throughout the day when you gained about 25 places in one go to go on and lead 19 laps. Just tell us about how you feel at the end of that, having gained so many places and got such a great result out of tonight.
Well, to be honest, this is by far one of my favorite track and car combos. I love the old Atlanta layout with the Gen 6 cars. I think that's the best type of racing you can get out of it. Well, I went into this race with a lot of practice and notes. Sat there for about a couple hours watching Kevin Harvick back in 2018 when he was pretty decent. Here, watch how he ran the track, took notes of that, and try to put two and two together and do how he did. And qualifying wasn't the best to me, but I don't really care about qualifying, to be honest, because it's going to be long racing. So I'd rather work my way up and then just sit up front and have no competition or anything. But I like a little strategy involved.
Absolutely. By the way, the word's pretty decent and doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. That's pretty a bit of an understatement back in those days. But anyway, in terms of this track being one of your favourite combinations, does it give you sort of maybe the upper hand at any other tracks where it might feel a little bit similar? Are these sort of intermediate races going to be the ones you're really targeting this season, or are you looking at a whole season sort of run for the championship, at least to get into the playoffs? What are you hoping for?
Well, I know we got Phoenix next week, Michigan and Bristol coming up. I like Bristol as well with Phoenix. Michigan, I mean, it's like a Daytona or Talladega in a way, like a draft track. But those two, the Phoenix and Bristol, they're pretty decent to me as well in this car. So I'm looking forward to winning next week or top three at least.
Congratulations on getting to top 3 tonight, Caleb, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Yep.
Thanks so much, Caleb Hunt, third place tonight. And let's have a quick word, shall we, with Trey Graber before we sign off as well. Trey, welcome in. Good to have you with us. 54 laps run tonight. Have you got any comments on your own race before we get into anything else tonight?
Yeah, no, it just got to the point where I just needed to be in race control, helping the guy out, seeing everything. So I just parked it and was like, you know what, I had my fun tonight racing. Got some laps in. It's been great. I didn't run a single lap in the O'Reilly's cars with the guys all season. So it was cool to get out there and get some laps in. Shout out to Thomas Holland, our race control guy for this week. So it's been great being able to be in there with him and run a couple laps, but it just got to the point where I needed to be in race control to help him out instead of on the track. So
yeah, well, I understand because at lap 54 there was a lot happening. The caution had come out just a lap or so previous to that. There was a bit of, as there always is, confusion about when points are actually going to be awarded. You confirm that would be when the yellow flag actually flew, but not sure how many of the drivers would have quite known that because half of them came in, I think, knowing that. The other half, about 2 laps later, not knowing that. I think is what happened there, and then there was the whole wave pie stuff. You know, just tell us a little bit about what was going on behind the scenes there, because I'm sure there was a lot of conversation happening and a lot of consternation happening about the rather strange scenario, that strange caution that we were beginning to have there.
yeah, so my brain quit working. I'll say it live. My brain quit working. I had pitted, went 2 laps down, and when we were getting ready to come to 2 to green and 1 to green, somebody's like, "Hey, is this the stage?" And I was like, "No, we're on lap 51. We'll go green and have like 3 laps left till the end of the stage." Um, it wasn't until we were about ready to go green, someone's like, "Hey, this is lap 55," and I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm 2 laps down. I'm way off on numbers." So that's where I figured I just needed to park it and keep extending the caution to try to figure out what had happened, because it was a mess on the radio and iRacing trying to figure out what was going to happen. So that was 1,000% on me. I just lost my mind and thought we were on a certain lap and we weren't. And it ended up being the worst end to be wrong on, and the worst time to be wrong on during a race. So yeah, it was good, but thankfully the guys were very patient with us in race control to try to get it all figured out, the best way to figure it out. So I'm just proud of them for being communicative and being gracious and stuff for me and our new race control guy tonight.
Understandable. It was a complicated scenario. It always is when the caution comes out around the stage break, whatever race it is. So, yeah, well done. Sorted it all out in the end. We got there in the end, and we had a good race in the end as well. Thanks for chatting to us tonight, Trey. I'm sure we'll chat again after Phoenix in a week's time.
Always will be. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much. Trey Graber there chatting to us at the end tonight of the race at Atlanta tonight. Well, a couple of learnings from that, Charles. First of all, a little bit of understanding about what happened around that caution there, which, as I say, is always very complicated when the stage is about to happen and there's a caution coming out just before. It all gets very complicated. But main thing I learned there, chatting from Joshua Parent and Ryan Daly, was just the importance of track position, which I hadn't really been thinking about at all. They deemed it so important that they absolutely backed themselves into a corner there. And it does explain a little bit about what was actually going on there, because I was very confused, to be honest, at that stage. It does eventually explain all of that, but it just shows how important it was. They were willing to put themselves at risk at being, trapped a lap down. They were at risk over one stage, all in the name of track position here at Atlanta, which I'm surprised about.
Yeah, that is a very interesting tidbit we pulled from there. And hey, just the confidence there from Caleb Hunt said, "I'll just win the race next week, so it'll be fine." So we'll be looking forward to that as we head to the West Coast for a race at Phoenix next week, and looking forward to it. That's going to be a fun race. Phoenix is one of those a little off kiltered tracks. It's just a little different design than what we'll see a lot of. So yeah, it's going to be a fun race next week.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's round 3 of the Action Roofing Cup Series here at I2I Motorsports this season. The Gen 6 Series will be live just after 8 o'clock Eastern Time, ready in time for qualifying in Arizona. So make sure you join us for that one. A big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in tonight on Saturday on the Motormap Broadcasting Channel. I've been Leary alongside Charles Basho with Amit Owen behind the cameras of this race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway tonight. You've been watching the Southern Showdown 200 here at the Action Roofing Cup Series. We'll be back in 1 week's time from Phoenix. Make sure you join us then. For now, though, from Atlanta, Georgia, it's goodbye for now.